Chapter 1: 7 Streams, 7 Dreams. In the cluttered chaos of the Seven Streams house, creativity hums like static electricity, crackling between each room. Kade Montgomery sits hunched over his dual monitors, the flickering glow illuminating a face drawn tight with focus, fingers racing over keys in a blur of speed and sound. "Push forward now," he commands, each word a battle cry amid the wild clacking of keys, his gaming war zone, an arena where victory is forged and lost in milliseconds. His room is a labyrinth of gear, cables crisscross like vines, gaming paraphernalia clinging to every surface. A half-empty energy drink sits precariously close to his mouse, and the sharp odor of worn-out socks hovers in the air, a reminder that self-care has taken a backseat to ambition. Bloodshot eyes, brimming with the fire of relentless determination, scan the screen, revealing the numbers that track his rise and potential fall within the virtual arena. In the semi-lit kitchen, Rhea dances gracefully, effortlessly navigating her filming setup, while the comforting warmth of the stove envelops her. Her focus is divided between the sizzling pan and the handheld camera, a precarious balancing act of precision and creativity. "Now, a pinch of salt, just a pinch," she murmurs, her voice infused with both authority and gentleness. With a deft flick of her wrist, she sweeps the greasy spatula across the bubbling contents, the familiar clatter blending with a low, audible growl from her stomach, reminding her that all the delicious aromas are not for her today. Across the hall, in a tiny sound-sensitive bedroom, Lila Vaughn's focus sharpens as she adjusts her ASMR microphone and headphones. The sterile white walls close in on her, amplifying every rustle and creak beyond her door, a cacophony of a household perpetually buzzing with life. She winces as a stray sound seeps through, a fleeting frustration furrowing her brow. "I need silence," she whispers to herself, adjusting her long chestnut hair and hoping that today's recording won't be marred by the chaos of her living situation. Suddenly, the front door bursts open, and Rhea strides in, a whirlwind of energy breathless from her jog. She pauses to tap her fitness tracker, checking her stats with an appraising frown. "Not good enough," she mutters, clenching her fists in frustration. The tracker's harsh readout cuts through her earlier high, reminding her of her persistent drive for perfection that often leaves her feeling slightly hollow. Down the hall, Leo Kim leans over his tablet, deep in thought. The notifications ping and chime, a digital intrusion into his quiet space. He swipes them away with a slow, deliberate motion, his focus unwavering, exuding the stillness of an artist at work. Around him, the chaotic rhythms of his housemates create a symphony of distraction, each voice and sound a brushstroke against his own focused canvas. Nearby, Melody Carter strums her guitar, fingers dancing lightly over the strings. She hesitates between a soft original chord and a flashier cover riff, the clash of creativity and doubt echoing in the air. "What do you want to be?" she wonders aloud, not just to her audience but to herself, torn between the safety of familiarity and the thrill of risk. In a dim corner, Jax Thompson paces purposefully, rehearsing his lines with sharp, precise vocal inflections. His mind churns through potential arguments, each step charged with intention. "We can't let this be the end," he asserts, the weight of determination lacing his words with authority. The low hum of the television in the background barely registers in the scope of his rehearsals, echoing the distant chatter that buzzes through the living room. As Kade slams down a final key, the momentum shifts in the Seven Streams house, the pulse of creativity pushing everyone toward their next move. Each room reverberates with the echo of their ambitions, clutter, strategy, and art entwined in a dance that defines their reality. The living room of the Seven Streams house feels more like a battleground than a home. Its dilapidated furniture and scattered personal items a testament to both chaos and creativity. As the seven streamers converge, screens glow dimly and the hum of equipment fills the air, a soundtrack to their gathering. Tension hangs palpably between them, amplified by the weight of uncertainty. Today's discussion might just dictate their fate. Rhea Patel stands at the center, her expression a mix of resolve and vulnerability as she holds up the eviction notice, crumpled at the edges from repeated readings. The words, "Notice of Eviction," emblazoned across the top, seem to loom larger than life, the implications settling heavily over the group. "This is real, you guys," she says, her voice steady despite the tremor beneath. "We have to figure something out before the deadline hits." The room falls silent, a pause filled with unspoken fears and dashed hopes. Kade's hands shake slightly as he hovers over his phone, the glow illuminating the sweat on his brow. "I thought we were doing better. I thought," he starts, then cuts himself off, breath hitching in a swallow. "It doesn't matter what we thought." Zara interjects, her frustration bubbling over. "Look at where we are. This isn't just about numbers on a screen. This is our life. It's everything we've built." She exchanges pointed looks with Leo, who stands motionless, his silence deepening the tension in the room. "Do you guys see this as a failure?" Leo finally speaks, his voice quiet yet firm. "We've created something meaningful here. We just need a plan to keep it going." Melody shifts in her seat, lightly strumming a chord on her unplugged guitar, the sound soothing yet fragile like glass on the verge of shattering. "We can't give up now," she chimes in, her gentle tone cutting through the thick air. "What if we organize a fundraiser? Something to rally our followers?" Her idea lingers, hopeful but tinged with the reality of their financial mess. Jax Thompson, leaning against the wall, straightens up at the sound of her proposal. "We can't let this be the end," he says with a commanding presence. His authoritative voice swells with purpose as he glances around at the anxious faces. "Let's break this down. We need to leverage our platforms more aggressively, collaborate, cross-promote, whatever it takes. If we unite our followers, we can create a wave of support." The group's murmur rises as the idea begins to take root, Rhea nodding in agreement, her earlier fears beginning to ebb as hope replaces them. Zara, however, crosses her arms tightly, a conflicted look crossing her face. "But what if it's not enough? What if we fail?" she shoots back, frustration lacing her words. "Then we fail together," Kade says, determination threading through his voice. "But if we don't try, it'll be the end of everything we've built." He makes eye contact with each of them, urgency igniting a spark. "We need to commit, all in." An air of defiance coats their discussion, creating an electric buzz. Leo finally shifts from his silent contemplation, adding his voice soft yet steady, "I can design something for the fundraiser, art or promotional material." His art, often sidelined by the digital noise, now feels vital. As they each begin to formulate ideas, Melody's strumming picks up pace, blending her soft melodies into a rising crescendo. The sounds of hesitant hope meld together, each streamer shaping their own contribution to a common purpose. A newfound sense of resolve permeates the room as plans start to crystallize, and they begin discussing how to combine their distinct talents to turn the tide. The atmosphere swells with collaborative energy, igniting optimism where there had been fear. In that moment, the weight of uncertainty shifts from paralyzing despair to a shared sense of purpose. They huddle closer, the soft glow of screens painting their determined faces with flickers of light, illuminating the path ahead. As they converge, their collective voices rise and blend into a renewed battle cry, echoing the heartbeat of a creative movement, one that refuses to fade without a fight. Chapter 2: The Algorithm Apocalypse. In a dim, cluttered gaming room, Kade Montgomery hunches over his keyboard, fingers frozen in midair. The screen before him, once a vibrant eruption of chat messages, now displays an unsettling black void, the viewer count sliding ominously to 0. Around him, remnants of his streaming success litter the desk, discarded energy drink cans and worn-out gaming gear, a mockery of the connection that feels farther away than ever. The hum of the computer fans creates a haunting symphony in the silence. Kade swallows hard, each gulp a reminder of his dwindling relevance. His messy dark hair falls over sharp, observant eyes that are now clouded with doubt. "Come on," he mutters under his breath, but the words feel inadequate against the specter of failure hanging in the air. He reflexively runs a hand through his hair, a habit forged in years of intense focus, but today the gesture feels futile. His once thriving channel has become a digital graveyard, and the grief gnaws at him with every failed refresh. Across the house, in the solitude of her bedroom, Lila Vaughn stares at the glow of her laptop screen. It illuminates her hazel eyes, now heavy with a mix of weariness and determination. Her delicate fingers skim over the touchpad, as curt, mocking comments flash across her ASMR video feed. "This is boring, you suck." The words cut deep, echoing like a choir of disappointment. Once her whispers offered solace, but now they return to haunt her. She shifts in her chair, fidgeting with her oversized headset. Anxiety gnaws at her insides, whispering doubts into her ear. "I just wanted to help," she murmurs, half-heartedly defending her purpose. A click of a mouse echoes in the silence, underscoring her isolation. Her gentle demeanor remains intact, but the relentless pressure of the online world feels like a vice around her chest, squeezing tighter with each passing second. In the cramped kitchen, Rhea Patel stands over a meticulously arranged cooking station, the remnants of her culinary dreams barely visible. The camera, a borrowed relic, captures her every move, but the excitement of a cooking tutorial feels lifeless as the view count lingers in single digits. The fridge hums lazily, an unwelcome reminder of the bill looming over her head, a crumpled eviction notice clenched in her hand like a lifeline. "Just one viewer," she whispers, desperation creeping into her voice as she glances at the lens. The plated dish, once a centerpiece of her content, now feels abandoned, as if it too has lost the will to shine. Rhea breathes deeply, drawing in the comforting sense of spices and simmering sauces, but the weight of the world presses down, rendering the joy of cooking an obligation rather than an escape. Nearby, Zara Reyes leans against the kitchen counter, her athletic form glistening with perspiration from a recent run. The adrenaline that once spurred her now dissipates as she hovers over her phone, tapping the refresh icon repeatedly. The numbers collapse before her eyes like a house of cards. "What the hell is going on?" she snaps, her voice a mixture of frustration and disbelief. "Come on, I put my heart into this," Zara exclaims, nearly throwing the phone onto the counter. Beneath her outward confidence lies a creeping doubt, an insidious thought that she's losing the connection with her audience. "This isn't just about me," she says to herself, searching for reassurance. "It's about us." She slams her palm on the counter, a ripple of energy surging through her. The disparity between her dedication and the views feels like a betrayal, and every failure hits harder than the last. In another corner of the house, Leo Kim sits with his tablet propped on a stool, an empty art live stream paused in limbo. His lean form appears almost ghostly against the backdrop of his artworks, which now feel like distant memories of a better time. He idly sketches a rough outline of the scene, fingers stained with ink, but the creation feels hollow without the audience's engagement. If they could just see the depth, he mutters to himself, frustration weaving through his thoughts. The art world craves immediacy, yet he yearns for the slow burn of creation, the subtleties lost in the race for likes. From the other side of the room, soft guitar strings vibrate as Melody Carter absent-mindedly plucks at her half-finished song, the notes hanging in the air like unfulfilled promises. Vibrant red hair catches the glint of overhead light as she shifts, her mind torn between melody and anxiety. Each strum echoes her desire for connection, yet the silence of her view count gnaws at her spirit. Just one more view, come on, she pleads, a silent wish escaping her lips, but the whispers of self-doubt drown out the music she longs to share. Across the house, Jax Thompson rehearses lines in front of a silent monitor, every inflection practiced to precision, but lacking the audience's pulse to validate him. The walls of the Seven Streams house feel suffocating, each flicker of the screen a countdown to an unvoiced anxiety. Let's break this down, he states, testing the authority in his voice, yet it rings hollow. The contrast between his polished exterior and internal tempest reflects the struggle brewing beneath the surface, a mixture of frustration and fierce determination as he grapples with responsibility, the weight of expectations echoing through the room. The air hangs thick with tension as each of them navigates the fragile boundary of public perception and personal connection. As the camera pans through the scattered remnants of their passions, a half-eaten snack, forgotten headphones, the stark reality of their solitude becomes a poignant reminder that their digital energy has grown dim, each stream a reflection of the isolation that now binds them. The echoes of silence settle into the room, building an undercurrent of anticipation for what might come next, as the faint collective heartbeat of their ambition teeters on the edge of collapse. Gathered in the worn-out living room of the Seven Streams house, the seven streamers stand enveloped by the glow of their screens and a solitary overhead bulb that swings slightly, casting jittery shadows across their faces. Tension thickens the air as Kade paces like a caged animal, a tablet gripped tightly in his hand, his focus honed into a fierce intensity that cuts through the fatigue settling around them. "This isn't random," he declares, voice sharp enough to slice through the weight of the room. His dark eyes dart from face to face, each flicker of emotion on their features informing his next move. The data on the screen reflects their plummeting numbers, a downward spiral that feels like a nail in their collective coffin. "We're being sabotaged." Zara slams her phone down onto the coffee table, the sound echoing like thunder in the tense space. "Who's sabotaging us?" she shoots back, her frustration boiling to the surface. Her athletic build pulses with energy as she steps forward, eyes blazing. "I've worked my ass off for this channel. If someone's playing games behind our backs, we need to find out who it is. I refuse to go down without a fight." Lila, perched on the edge of a creaking chair, adjusts her headset, a move meant to ground herself. "We need to figure this out now," she interjects, her voice calm and measured yet threaded with urgency. Hands fidgeting in her lap, she shoots a glance at Kade. Rushing in with accusations might only make it worse. Rushing in? This is a full-on attack. Zara retorts, crossing her arms defiantly. The competitive fire ignited within her battles against the instinct to keep the peace. "I've seen these comments, Lila. Our audiences are being turned against us." As Kade takes a deep breath, he shifts the tablet to point at the data with newfound urgency, fingers brushing against the screen as if hoping to conjure answers from thin air. "Look at these spikes, right after the streamers we've collaborated with posted. It's too coincidental. We need to strategize, gather evidence." Rhea's heart sinks further as she stands in the periphery, a crumpled eviction notice clutched in her hand, an unwelcome weight. Evidence? We can't even pay rent. Her warm brown eyes glisten with unshed tears, as vulnerability slips through her usual nurturing demeanor. I'm just trying to make a living doing what I love. I can't be dealing with sabotage, on top of everything else. Rhea will figure it out, Melody offers softly, her vibrant red hair catching the light as she moves to sit beside her. You know we're in this together. But we can't ignore what's happening. We need to brainstorm new ideas, ways to engage our audiences, and connect on a deeper level. Her gentle enthusiasm provides a slight flicker of hope, though the weight of reality continues to press down. In a shadowy corner, Leo watches, his quiet demeanor contrasting sharply with the escalating emotions around him. Perhaps it's about understanding why our art matters, he suggests carefully, drawing the attention of the group with a precise observation. If we can articulate that, maybe we can bridge the disconnect. You think philosophy is gonna save us? Jax interjects, his voice dripping with sarcasm, but the intensity behind his words reveals his own inner turmoil. Look, if you guys want to keep this up, you need to take responsibility. Every misstep is on us. We've let our presence slip, and that's no one's fault but our own. Hold on a second. Zara snaps back, indignant. I've poured my heart into my content. If that isn't enough for them, then what's the point? You think I'm just sitting back and letting this happen? Jax locks eyes with her, a clash of wills, but instead of backing down, he raises his voice. Yes, and maybe that's exactly why this is happening. It's not just about one person anymore. If we're going to pull through this, we need to come together as a team. His authoritative tone attempts to dominate the growing chaos, but it only ignites deeper frustration. Together. Zara shakes her head, unwilling to back down. It's hard to trust when our numbers keep dwindling. At that, Lila stands, hands raised in a gesture of peace. Let's not forget our audience sees the chaos between us. We need to project unity, even if we feel fractured. Her calm presence has a grounding effect, yet the urgency in her voice hints at her own internal turmoil. The room falls into a tense silence, a collective pause where the air thickens with unresolved emotions. Each face reflects a storm of thoughts: frustration, vulnerability, suspicion, and yearning for connection. Their past successes now loom like shadows, haunting reminders of a time when their digital spirits thrived, and now threaten to sink under the weight of their fears. Rhea's voice breaks through the silence, carrying the weight of her reality. Maybe we all just need to be honest about what we're going through. It's more than just numbers. It's our lives, our livelihoods. She releases a shaky breath, the eviction notice unfurling between her fingers. I can't lose everything. I won't let that happen. I refuse to be silenced. In that moment, the power of their shared vulnerability weaves through the tension, binding them together as they realize the stakes aren't merely about view counts or audience engagement. They each harbor their own fears: anxiety over failure, the desperate need for validation, the longing to create meaning. As the conversation shifts, voices blending into a resolute determination, they lean into a sense of community, working to intertwine their skills and insights. The flickering lights above begin to settle, the energy morphing from conflict into a budding plan. Perhaps this wasn't the end. Maybe it was a pivot, an opportunity to rise from the ashes of their collective despair. With hearts pounding in unison, they brace themselves for the challenges ahead, the weight of their ambitions now pulling them closer rather than tearing them apart. A faint sense of hope glimmers in the shadows, waiting to be cultivated into something real, something that will ignite their spirits anew. Chapter 3: Kade's Conspiracy. The common room of 7 streams swirls with frantic energy. Rhea, apron-stained and eyes wide, blends a mass of batter as accusations slice through the air. Zara's fingers swipe across her phone, desperate to capture numbers that flicker like mirages. Leo sits isolated, lost in his tablet's glow while Jax paces, every sharp gesture a challenge thrown into the chaotic mix of emotions. In the corner, Melody's guitar strings twang softly, the calm before the impending storm. "Are you sabotaging me?" Jax's voice cuts through Ray's concentration, thick with accusation as he narrows his eyes. The words hang heavy, like the smell of burnt sugar permeating the room. Ray's hands tremble, her mixing slowing. She's spinning, trying to focus on the batter, each stir a fight against the distractions around her. "Sabotaging? Are you serious?" Zara huffs, her brow glistening with perspiration from exertion, caught between exerting herself and tracking the abyss of analytics she worships. She angles her phone for the perfect light, the lens capturing not just her, but the tensions curling in every corner of the room. "I'm only showing what the stats say. You're the one failing to keep up." "Failing to keep up?" Jax's incredulous tone rises, the disdain painting over his calculated composure. He steps closer, forcing her gaze up from her screen, as if challenging her not just to defend her position, but to confront her very essence. "It's not a race, it's about our integrity." Meanwhile, Leo remains hunched in the worn-out couch, a fortress of his own making. His tablet's glow spills over the shadows that curl around him. Every flick of his stylus echoes in a world where nothing feels tangible. He's caught somewhere between reality and his need to articulate. His observations are silenced under the onslaught of chaos, a witness to both turmoil and creativity. The guitar in Melody's hands tunes itself to a sound of its own, an ethereal quality straining against the surrounding tension. She focuses intently, deliberately placing her fingers, lost in a reverie away from accusations and metrics, yet acutely aware of the emotional landscape flooding around her. Each pluck reverberates softly against the chaos. "Can we all just—" But before she finishes, the words dissolve against the roaring noise. Jax turns, pushing aside any tenderness, intensifying the drama of the room. "We're failing to see the bigger picture. This is bigger than metrics." Kade Montgomery slips through the door, an unannounced presence that wades through the sea of arguments. His entrance stirs a quiet ripple, but eyes barely flicker to him. They are engrossed, distracted by words that lash out like whips. He pauses just inside, eyes drawn to the dark hallway that stretches beyond them, an alleyway of unknowns inviting his curiosity. Shadows flicker like thoughts he can't articulate, stirring doubts he can't voice. Then he takes a step back. This isn't his battle, at least not yet. There's an uncomfortable pull between wanting to step in, to offer solace, and the need to withdraw into himself. The chaos continues to erupt. Every syllable cuts through the air sharp and critical. In a single, slow retreat, Kade finds his way back to his room, letting the cacophony of rising voices follow him, a sound design he wants no part of. What's left in the common room is chaos tethered to ambition, a tightrope walk between dreams and confrontations where trust feels delicate, and foundations seem as unsteady as the whipped batter that still spins in Ray's bowl. Kade's cramped bedroom pulses with color, the neon reflections bouncing off polished gear casting an electric atmosphere around him. He powers up the dual monitors, the hum of the fans mixing with the quickening thump of his heart. Each key he taps releases a sharp clack against concrete, echoing a relentless pursuit of answers in a digital age drowning in metrics and noise. As the screens come alive, a vivid array of charts and graphs fills his view, indicators of trends and outcomes he scrutinizes like a general examining a battlefield. His fingers move deftly over the sticky keyboards, each command deliberate, each click amplifying his focus. He knows this environment like a second skin, a patchwork of late nights and relentless ambition. The spreadsheet populates before him, rows of data scrolling endlessly in vivid colors that contrast with the dull gray walls. He scans the figures, eyes darting between metrics with the precision of a hawk. Frustration coils tighter within him. Discrepancies aren't random, not in a world that thrives on competition. "It's not random," he murmurs, barely a whisper escaping his lips, yet laden with a burden heavier than he anticipated. With each set of numbers he analyzes, the heat of revelation washes over him. Corporate-backed influencers are floating untouched by the chaos that consumes their independent peers. Something darker lies beneath. Questions unfurl like smoke around him. Why are these creators unaffected? Why are they elevated, while others crumble? The answers remain elusive, each attempt to grasp them slipping like sand through his fingers. And then another knock on his door, soft but insistent. It breaks through his focus like a sudden flash of light. He glances momentarily at the framed poster on his wall, an homage to an arcade game he grew up loving. Old habits die hard, and nostalgia tugs at him, pulling him away from the pressing data demanding his attention. "Go away," he mutters to himself, wishing to drown out the world again, retreating into the comfort of numbers and certainty. His heartbeat thunders in his ears, the pull to ignore the knock at war with the underlying need for connection. In this moment of silence, the noise of his surroundings fades. The knock comes again, lingering this time, filled with a warmth that clings to the chill of isolation he's carved for himself. He hovers over the keyboard, fingers poised, uncertainty and agitation flooding him. What if it's Lila, looking to share a moment of calm? What if it's someone seeking clarity amid the chaos? And as he finally hesitates, caught between temptation and the task at hand, the air buzzes with the tension of unanswered questions, a storm brewing at the very intersection of digital turmoil and human connection. Kade stands before the group, the laptop casting sharp blue light across their faces, a digital world bleeding into their reality. The cracked TV screen looms as a stage for his revelations, and an air of electricity dances in the silence, like static before a storm. As the collective tension rises, the room vibrates with unspoken thoughts, a myriad of emotions waiting to explode. He clicks through the slides, data shifting under their watchful gazes. Lila leans beside him, her quiet support a contrast to the nervous energy radiating from the others. "I'm with you, Kade," she whispers, her presence steadying as he prepares to unveil the fabric of the chaos that had plagued their community. Rhea stands with her cookies, glancing between the screen and Kade, fumbling with the cooling tray in her hands. The scent of sweetness does nothing to mask the bitter anxiety curling in her stomach. Every unfinished dessert feels like a personal failure, a mirror to the disarray spinning outside her control. She swallows hard, and Zara, caught up in her scrolling, snaps her head up with wide eyes as if she can almost feel the shift in the air. "What is it?" Zara's voice slices through the building tension, an edge of desperation threading through her words. She shifts her weight from one foot to the other, fingers still dancing across her phone, as though the answer lies in her ability to scroll faster. Leo, ever detached, draws his gaze from the screen to the group, not participating, but not entirely absent either. His tablet dims, yet the energy envelops him, curbing his urge to retreat into silence. There's a flicker of concern in his eyes, tempered by curiosity, as he studies Kade, the pieces forming together in their delicate dance of tension. Jax shifts his weight from foot to foot, his internal battle visible in the tensing muscles of his jaw. The spark of conviction hovers on his lips, wrestling against doubts that come creeping into the light. "Do you really think this is ethical?" he challenges, weighing Kade's findings against the moral dilemma etched in the moment. Pushing it further, does it really solve anything? Kade takes a steady breath, grounding himself as he focuses on the data before him, the numbers coalescing into a bigger picture, the unkind reality of their shared existence. This isn't random. Look at the influencers. We're talking a divide so vast, it leaves independent creators vulnerable to manipulation. His voice carries, steeped in urgency, eyes piercing through the facade. The tension expands like a balloon, stretched to its breaking point, filled with disbelief and rising urgency. The air grows thick with hesitation, as Kade's conclusions hang in the charged atmosphere. Rhea's fumble with the cooling tray ends in a soft crash, the cookies scattering like their ambitions into a fractured tableau. Zara's anxious scrolling pauses, the data on her phone forgotten, while Leo's pensive eyes search for understanding. Jax's posture shifts again, grappling with the ramifications of their situation, while a fog of silence descends around them. In that suspended moment, the group stands teetering on the precipice of a decision, burdened by suspicion but entangled in curiosity, unsure how to navigate the treacherous waters ahead. The room holds its breath, a collective heartbeat that resonates through Kade's palpable conviction. What was once only a struggle for attention in the digital noise has evolved into a deeper inquiry of trust, intention, and survival in a world that thrives on chaos. Chapter 4: House Divided. In the cramped kitchen, morning light slices through dusty windows, casting jagged patterns on chipped countertops littered with half-finished recipes and forgotten ingredients. Rhea's fingers tremble as she flips open the envelope, the stark black letters blur before her eyes. An eviction notice. The weight of it presses down like a heavy fog, every heartbeat a reminder of her fears, and in the distant room, Kade's focused energy sharpens, oblivious to the storm brewing within her chest. She stuffs the notice into her worn purse, a silent prayer echoing in her mind that maybe, just maybe, this isn't happening. Underneath a stack of recipe cards, she tries to bury the news alongside her aspirations, as if doing so will shield her from the harsh reality clawing at her throat. Breaths come shallow and rapid, her chest tightening with anxiety. With a reluctant glance towards the door, she wonders how long it will be before the facade shatters. Across the hall, Kade unscrews a sleek security camera from its packaging, his calloused fingers working methodically as he tightens the final screw on the device. The concentrated furrow of his brow betrays nothing of Rhea's turmoil. This is his zone, a world of strategy and mastery where everything has its place. He fits the last screw in and takes a step back to admire his work, feeling the rush of accomplishment. Streaming, building his own gaming empire, pulses in the background of his mind, giving him the drive to forge ahead. Lila adjusts her ASMR microphone and diffuser setup in the adjoining room. The soft hum of calibration drapes over the chaos like a soothing balm. Clacks of her fingers dance on the tabletop as she sets everything up, unaware of the storm in the other room. But in moments of clarity, she can feel the pressure simmering beneath the surface, Rhea's struggle striking an instinctual chord deep within her. As Kade finishes securing the camera, his sharp gaze catches Rhea through the crack in the door. Their eyes meet, a flicker of awareness sparking between them. He's unaware of what she's hiding, but the tremor in her hand doesn't escape him. Something's off. His instincts prick at him, a whisper of suspicion edging into his thoughts. Why does she look like a deflated balloon? The vibrant colors of her personality dulled. "Hey Rhea," he calls, trying to shake off the unease. Her forced smile crumbles instantly. She fights to push the notice deeper into the recesses of her purse, her heart racing. "Just fine. Got everything handled." Lila's tranquil demeanor shifts as she senses the rift forming. She quietly moves into the kitchen, the air thickening with tension. "What's going on?" she murmurs, her voice low and soothing, inviting. But Rhea only shakes her head, every muscle tense, as if her very existence is being tested. The brief moment of connection hangs between them, fragile like glass, as Lila approaches with an empathy that belies the chaotic world of content creation they navigate together. Kade squints, frustration bubbling beneath his determination. "Just tell us what's up. We're a team." Silence. The space fills with unanswered questions, all weightless, hanging delicately over them. Rhea finds herself staring at the chipped counter, seeking solace in its familiarity, the faint hum of hope fluttering deep within her. "I'm just figuring things out," she finally replies, though the half-hearted smile does little to mask the worry crinkling her brow. Kade and Lila share a glance, and in that instant, the chaotic undercurrents of their lives spin tighter. Their unspoken concerns collide, a single moment brimming with what could become something more, something deeper, but it lingers like an echo on the edge of consciousness. In the daylight streaming through the window, Rhea finds a thread of connection amongst the chaos. They are all bound together by more than just streams or even shared dreams. But for now, she feels painfully alone. In the cluttered living room, Zara stands by a sagging sofa, her phone glowing ominously with plummeting view counts and subscription numbers. Fists clenched, frustration courses through her as she marches over to Leo's chaotic workstation, the ghost of hesitation drowned beneath her rising indignation. A whirlwind of scattered notebooks and computer cables seems to mirror the disarray in her mind. "Leo," she snaps, jabbing her finger in his direction, "you're not pulling your weight." Startled, Leo's eyes dart from his tablet where half-finished sketches flicker to Zara's fierce gaze. "What do you mean?" "I'm working on my stuff." "No," Zara interjects, pacing. "You've been distracted for weeks. Look at this." She thrusts her phone into his face, the metrics stark and unyielding. "This isn't just about you. It affects all of us. We're sinking." Leo fumbles with his stylus, the digital pen slipping from his fingers. His heart races, matching Zara's aggressive tempo. "You think I don't know that? I'm trying to create something that matters. It's not easy." His voice is barely a whisper, a defense against the mounting pressure. Nearby, Melody stands, notebook strewn across the coffee table. She slams her hand down, eliciting an echo through the chaos, and her expression radiates a mix of determination and weariness. "Both of you stop. This isn't helping." "Stop?" Zara shoots back, her temper flaring. "How can we stop when everything's falling apart?" She doesn't pull away from confrontation, even as Leo's guilt simmers at the edges of his determination. "What are we going to do? Keep ignoring the problem?" Melody shakes her head, and for a split second, uncertainty ripples across her features, revealing her internal conflict between creativity and the demands of success. Jax wanders in just as the tension peaks, his presence immediately filling the room. "At least I'm shaking things up," he asserts sharply, crossing his arms as his gaze meets the heated exchange. The energy in the room shifts again, a palpable current of disagreement pulsating between them. Zara glances at him, brows knitted. "Shaking things up?" Is that what you call it? More like escalating the chaos. We need to adapt, not just point fingers, he retorts, voice low but fierce. Look at what's happening around us. The digital landscape doesn't wait for anyone. So why should we? As the words hang in the air, Leo shifts in his seat, unwillingly caught in the crossfire. The rising voices echo around him, drowning his quiet thoughts, leaving him grappling for focus amidst the whirlpool of accusations. He bites his lip, contemplating the silence he feels beckoning. In this ocean of chaos, he has become invisible. How does he stand out in a sea of bold statements and raw ambition? Shaking things up doesn't mean throwing each other under the bus, Jax. Zara retorts, her voice tinged with disbelief. She steps forward, the pressure intensifying. Melody intervenes with a gentle urgency. Let's just take a step back, she urges. Maybe if we collaborate instead of attack, we can find a way forward. Zara pauses, the fire in her eyes softening. Fine. But we need real ideas. Not just, she trails off, searching for the right word as her gaze flickers to Leo, who wears an apologetic look, and Jax, standing firm like an immovable force. The sound of their escalating emotions lingers, filling the room with a potent mixture of frustration and the potential for collaboration. They hover on the edge, every heartbeat racing forward into uncertainty as the clock ticks closer to a choice, becoming either united or irrevocably divided. In the overburdened living area, all 7 streamers gather around a battered coffee table, the clutter speaking of aspirations unfulfilled and dreams barely hanging on. Rhea's fingers tremble as she finally unfurls the crinkled eviction notice, placing it in the center with deliberate force. It is more than paper, it is the heartbeat of their fractured ambitions laid bare. A silent gasp circulates through the group. The noise of the living room quiets, every heartbeat sharp and clear as the reality sinks in. Zara's expression darkens as her eyes narrow on the notice. What the hell is this? Her tone slices through the silence, sharp as a blade. This is why we've been struggling, Rhea states, her voice steady but laced with tension, hoping to ground herself amidst the chaos. I couldn't hide it anymore. Kade's jaw tightens, shock washing over him. How did you let it get this far? His words come out quick, full of suspicion and concern. Why didn't you say something? Rhea stands firm, a flicker of anger igniting within her, pushing against the rising tide of blame. I didn't want to drag you all down. I thought I could fix it myself. But here we are. Her gaze darts around the room, landing on each face, each one a portrait of disbelief and worry. Melody, unable to hide her emotion, shakes her head. You didn't think we could help? Rhea, we're all in this together. You shouldn't have kept it a secret. Her heartache bleeds into every word, revealing the cracks in their solidarity. Zara crosses her arms, the accusatory posture unwavering. If you'd told us sooner, we could have done something. We can't just sit here and do nothing. The energy in the room crackles, every individual confronted by the frayed edges of their aspirations. Leo looks down, gripping his sketchpad tightly, as if it could shield him from the conflict around him. Rhea, I didn't realize. Kade clears his throat, taking a step forward, embodying his role as the leader even in disarray. Listen, we need to focus. Blame doesn't help anyone right now. He's fierce but still sincere, a tough love that tries to steer them from the brink of chaos. We need a plan. A plan? Zara scoffs, rolling her eyes. What plan? We're getting evicted. Anything we try to do has to be together, Kade insists, pacing now, laying down a framework for hope amid despair. It's either we come up with a way to raise the funds, or we figure out a solution together. Alone, we don't stand a chance. Who's going to pull together money overnight? Zara challenges, arms still crossed. The tension crackles as Leo glances between them, torn between the want to support Rhea and the intensity of Zara's condemnation. Rhea's voice slices through the burgeoning chaos again, low but firm. We can't keep pointing fingers at each other. We either come together, or… She hesitates, feeling the weight of her vulnerability hanging in the air like a storm cloud. Or we lose everything. The room holds its breath, a palpable silence filled with hesitation and mounting emotions. Melody bites her lip, looking around at the familiar faces that have become her second family. So what do we do? She whispers, her heart aching as she searches for resolve. As discussions swirl, Kade watches Rhea. There's something in her eyes, a fierce determination buried beneath the despair. He understands now, more than ever, that she's fighting for them all, a reluctant champion determined to steer the ship even as it threatens to capsize. Zara's anger begins to dissipate, gradually replaced with resignation as she turns to Rhea. Fine. But we can't sit idle. Let's brainstorm ideas, she concedes, the fight ebbing away, revealing the vulnerability she often hides beneath layers of confidence. Together, Rhea breathes, the tiniest hint of relief beginning to shimmer on the horizon, bridging the fragile connection that has threatened to snap apart. As the room begins to come alive again, tentative discussions merging into an unsteady optimism, the hum of computer fans fills the silence, threading them back together. In that charged moment, Rhea realizes they are not just a group of streamers, but a family forged in shared struggles. Each heartbeat, each idea shared a testament to their resilience. Together, they stand at the precipice of change, where survival requires collaboration and vulnerability, the first step towards transformation rooted deep in trust and shared purpose. Chapter 5: Kade's Breakthrough. Kade Montgomery's room pulses with the low hum of machinery and the piercing light of several monitors, each flickering with graphs and data that overlap like a digital symphony. The air thickens with tension, as if the walls themselves are straining to contain the weight of his discoveries. Scattered printouts clutter his desk, a chaotic reflection of his frenzied mind, while he slams keys with relentless precision, heart racing in sync with the rhythmic tapping that fills the cramped space. His fingers fly over the keys, the pressure of his focus solidifying into the urgency of each rapid stroke. He pulls up a complex spreadsheet, glancing from one screen to the next as each revelation connects like pieces of an intricate puzzle, leading his analytical mind deeper down the rabbit hole of numbers and statistics. Lines blur into patterns, data shifting before his eyes, the implications simmering in the background of his thoughts. Kade's messy dark hair is illuminated by the soft glow of the monitors, fingers gripping the edge of his desk, a barely contained burst of energy waiting to explode. "This is it," he murmurs to himself, the intensity of his conviction slicing through the dimly lit room. The sound of digital notes flapping like pages in a storm surrounds him as he reshuffles them, searching for confirmation of what his gut instinct is screaming. He traces outlined figures in a sticker-covered notebook with one calloused finger, running through calculations that blend seamlessly with each keystroke as the whir of his computer fans fills the silence, punctuating his concentrated state. The whiplash of revelation hits him. There's a pattern, and it's pointing toward tech titan industries. Heart thudding, Kade's eyes widen, the excitement mingling with the dread of what this could mean. The room spins slightly, the sensation swirling around him as he finds himself at a precipice, staring into the abyss of a larger conspiracy. A distinct clarity emerges, forcing him to let the chaos breathe for a moment, the breath slowing as he leans back in his chair, eyeing the stack of data he'd compiled. Each element within that pile threatens to lift the veil on something much darker. He runs a hand over his stubbled jaw, grounding himself. The implications flicker in the corners of his mind like distant stars in the vast night sky, but they pull on him. What if he's right? What if Tech Titan has been playing games with people's lives, ensnaring their hopes within a web of misinformation? His focus narrows, and he shakes his head, thoughts colliding into one another. It isn't enough to simply uncover the truth. He needs to articulate it, expose it, dismantle the structures that prop up the deceit. Kade returns to the spreadsheet, darting glances from the figures dancing on his screens to his chaotic workspace, crumpled pages rife with frantic annotations scattered at his feet. The deeper he digs, the more uneasy he feels. He can sense something is coming, a reckoning built on data and the vulnerability of those trapped in the game Tech Titan plays. He sweeps his gaze across the walls, noticing his hastily scrawled notes and revelations, all leading to this singular point. The hours meld together, time bending as he pieces together the plot lines of algorithms and board meetings, his conviction boiling like a simmering pot on the brink of spilling over. The fan whirs louder, seemingly reflecting his escalating heartbeat, and he reminds himself that this is just the beginning. All of it hinges on him. All that mattered was driving forward, finding every piece of evidence that leads him closer to uncovering the truth behind the digital veil. Each keystroke sparks fresh adrenaline, an intoxicating cocktail of fear and excitement, transforming it into unwavering focus. With a determined edge slicing through the air, Kade gathers the digital notes around him, working to rearrange the chaos into a clear vision. His gaze locks on the near-final analysis. The culmination of months of work, no longer merely conjecture. Tech Titan, he marks boldly across the top of a pristine page, a new chapter taking shape beneath his fingertips. His eyes narrow, burning with a fierce intensity as he studies the graph illuminating on the monitor, a surge of data where once only disjointed fragments had floated. The ink from his marker gives weight to the evidence he feels must break through, a physical embodiment of the strategy he's now honing. If he can stitch together these truths, the rest will follow, the world will know. A sharp inhale steadies him as he locks eyes with the screen, breathing out a silent mantra that echoes louder than the whir of his machines. This changes everything. In the dilapidated living room of 7 Streams, the air crackles with electric anticipation, as the faint whir of machinery melds with the echoes of hushed conversations. Kade strides purposefully toward the wall-mounted monitor, a sense of urgency cloaked around him, while others gather closely, their curiosity piqued by the promise of groundbreaking revelations hanging thick in the atmosphere. Lila, ever the composed presence, leans forward, headset snugly positioned as she flips through her detailed notebook, pages whispering secrets of their own. "Look at these ASMR trends. They match up," she notes, the steady cadence of her voice drawing the group's focus. Her hazel eyes flicker with insight, contrasting the restive energy of her companions. There's an air of trust around her, one that encourages transparency in ideas shared within this creative haven. Rhea, setting her phone down atop a cluttered counter, glances up from her screen, the clutter of cooking utensils forming a haphazard backdrop to her animated suggestions. "If you analyze this further, we could overlay culinary preferences with streaming demographics. There's something unique here," she urges, voice rising with enthusiasm. The eagerness that radiates from her, framed by a colorful outfit, transforms the room, pulling everyone into a potential vision of convergence between culinary and digital content. Zara, arms crossed and expression scrutinizing, taps her foot rhythmically while scrolling through fitness statistics on her tablet. That's interesting, but we also have to consider how our audiences overlap, she states, her competitive spirit pressing against the more casual insights offered. Each sound, each statistic, becomes a battleground where her need to succeed cuts sharply against the optimism in Lila's observation. Leo, perched at a corner with a digital pad in hand, sketching feverishly amidst the chatter, looks up, voice measured and thoughtful. If we incorporate art into this data storytelling, we might actually engage the audience visually. People are more responsive to a visual narrative, he suggests, brushing an errant lock of hair from his face, the ink smudging his hands, an unspoken testament to his creative obsession. Meanwhile, Melody and Jax engage in rapid-fire exchanges, their personalities colliding like colorful paint splashes on a canvas. Melody's melodic tone intertwines with Jax's authoritative presence, their discussion simmering with urgency as they examine recalibrating their content. We can't ignore the emotional connection people feel through music, Melody emphasizes, her voice laced with the warmth of shared experiences. Emotion is key, but we must remain rooted in strategy, Jax counters, his sharp defined features unwavering, urging clarity amidst the creative storm. The room hums with their contrasting views, each voice a thread in an intricate tapestry of ideas, building a foundation for something bigger yet unformed. Let's break this down, Kade interjects, commanding attention, the strategic mind mapping the potential implications unfolding before them. The numbers I've collected will outline our next steps, both in terms of content and engagement. His expression tightens with resolve, the growing connection to the situation sparking a palpable excitement amongst the team. As Kade pulls up the breakthrough data, graphs flickering to life, the implications of his analysis spin out before them, casting silhouettes of possibilities across the room. Each gaze reflects a flicker of understanding, eager to latch onto the fragments that Kade offers, forging connections that bind their individual efforts into a cohesive whole. The collective atmosphere breathes determination as conversations whirl around strategies and actions, team members bouncing ideas back and forth, forging ties and agreements with the heat of their ambition igniting further. The energy multiplies, ideas flowing like water through the cracks of their initial doubts, the spaces once marked by uncertainty filling with a confidence only collaboration could cultivate. As Kade wraps up the meeting, summarizing their discoveries and plotting a course forward, the sense of unity swells like a wave of adrenaline cresting at high tide. Each member nods in unison, their hands coming together in firm shakes, resolve solidifying as they prepare to tackle the challenge ahead, their ambition tinged with the promise of deeper connections yet to be forged. This team, a blend of creativity and strategy, feels the weight of the world inching closer, and with the exhilarating prospect of unveiling the truths behind Tech Titan, their journey begins anew. Chapter 6: The Mole Hunt. The dimly lit living area vibrates with tension, a jumble of clattering dishes and electronic hums as Kade hunches over a battered coffee table, fingers dancing across the surface like a general mapping strategy. His laptop glows with figures that swim in his restless mind, a digital battlefield where every number could dictate the fate of his ambitions. In the kitchen, Rhea stirs a pot of simmering concoction, the steam curling like whispers of concern, while Zara, an anxious sentry, scrolls through her phone, seeking a signal amidst the fray. Rhea's movements are rhythmic, each stir of the large spoon met with the bubbling gurgles from the pot. She wears an oversized sweater, its comforting fabric a counterpoint to her swirling thoughts. As she stirs, her eyes dart toward Kade, who seems locked in an endless loop of calculations. The aroma of spices fills the cramped space, warm and inviting, yet she finds herself grappling with the feeling that Kade's fervor might lead them all into the fray without a plan. She glances at the worn-out oven timer, wishing it would buzz with the urgency they all need. Across the room, Zara scrolls through her messages, her brows furrowing deeper with each notification she pauses to read. The screen flickers with reminders and unanswered texts, yet the noise fades as her attention centers on Kade. "Dude, how's that number crunching going?" she muses under her breath, partially hoping he can feel her gaze grounding him. The tightness in her chest grows. There's something in the way he pecks at his notes that feels like danger lurking just beyond reach. In the shadows of the corner, Leo balances his tablet on one knee, his expression unreadable. He rarely engages with the tumultuous energy that ebbs and flows around him, preferring to weave his thoughts into intricate designs on the screen. As Kade's voice pitches upward, referencing algorithms that threaten to become prophetic, Leo only dips his chin further, focusing on the swirling colors that populate his digital canvas. There's an ache in his chest, a disconnect that leaves him feeling like an outsider observing a feverish debate. Melody idly strums her guitar in the far corner, notes floating through the air like wayward thoughts. She watches the interplay with wide, expressive eyes, catching fragments of conversations, Kade's intensity clashing against the muted concerns of others. Each chord resonates with the emotions of the moment, blending seamlessly into the simmering tension. She finds herself biting her lip, torn between jumping in and letting the rhythm unfold on its own. Meanwhile, Lila adjusts her ASMR microphone, careful and deliberate, her soothing presence a stark contrast to the growing strain. "Kade, maybe you should review your numbers again," she softly suggests, stepping forward with a measured cadence. Her voice is like cool water on a hot day, but she knows it won't quell the storm brewing in Kade's focused stare. The delicate dance of her fingers on the microphone, a ritualistic preparation for soothing sounds, speaks volumes about the calm she tries to maintain amid chaos. The camera pans to capture Kade's relentless scanning of charts and lists, his brow knit tight with resolve. A flurry of quick cuts captures the sharp glances shared among the group, each person absorbed in their own thoughts, yet tied to the knot of uncertainty growing ever tighter. Rhea swipes her stirring spoon against the edge of the pot, as the air thickens with something unsaid. Zara checks her phone once more, her thumb hovering over the screen as she weighs her words, and Leo allows the silence to envelop him. Melody's guitar chords linger like question marks in the air, punctuating the moments of stillness with hints of what might come next. The tension builds as Kade continues to press on, the environment thick with the pulse of electronics and anxious hearts. The sounds of shifting weight, quiet breaths, and the low thrum of technology create an almost cinematic quality, each element capturing a snapshot of a group poised on the edge of revelation, unaware that a storm brews just beneath the surface. Chapter 7: Unexpected Allies. In his cramped bedroom, the walls pulsate with the flickering lights of gaming monitors, casting sharp shadows on stacks of strategy manuals and energy drink cans. Kade Montgomery's fingers dance over the mechanical keyboard, each click a reminder of his relentless ambition, as a video alert suddenly interrupts the hum of focused chaos. The screen glows with the familiar face of Morgan, eyes bright and serious. "Kade, we have details," Morgan says, leaning into the camera, his brows knit in concentration. The secondary monitor behind him glows with lines of code and spreadsheets, a reflection of their ongoing battle against the unpredictable nature of the digital world. Kade's heart races, not just from the adrenaline of gaming but from the stakes involved. The algorithms could make or break their streams, might even topple rivals. Morgan's fingers drum an impatient rhythm on the desk, as if trying to physically push the information through the screen. "Look at this," he insists, gesturing with a quick motion, the data sharp against the darkness of the background. Kade squints, focus narrowing as he snatches a blank sheet from his printer, and his eyes dart between the fresh paper and the pixelated stream of numbers. He knows every digit holds potential secrets, hidden strategies lying just beneath the surface. With quick precision, he jots down notes, barely registering the piles of energy drink containers that crowd his workspace. Each sip, each swallow, a mix of motivation and distraction, blends into the din of his relentless drive. In a moment, the paper is filled with cryptic figures, bursts of thought illuminated by the blue glow of his gear. The light casts lines across his disheveled hair and furrowed brow, a portrait of determination wrapped in chaos. "Here, right here," Morgan continues, voice edging with urgency. "Look at the spikes in user engagement last Thursday. That's not just organic growth, that's structured." The phrases roll off his tongue like commands in a game, each moment inching them closer to unlocking a digital victory or unleashing an unforeseen consequence. Kade feels the rush of instinct, a sixth sense honed from years of strategizing against unseen opponents. He grips the printout tighter, feeling the crinkle of the paper beneath his fingertips, each wrinkle like an unturned card in the game of streaming dominance. "Tech Titan is behind this," he mutters, the name hanging in the air like a loaded weapon. The realization reverberates in the silence that follows, charged with implications they aren't yet ready to face. He leans back slightly, running a hand through his perpetually messy hair, feeling the shadows lurking in the corners of his cluttered sanctuary, each piece of hardware, a potential weapon in the ongoing battle against anonymity and competition. As he watches Morgan's animated expression flicker in and out with the screen's glare, Kade understands the essence of his ambition. It's more than just the numbers, it's the fight against an industry that never sleeps. Chapter 8: The Rival's Game. Mason Lee bursts through the creaking front door of the cluttered living room, his leather jacket whipping behind him like a flag of triumph. The collective murmur of laptops and scattered equipment abruptly halts, all eyes darting toward him, as Kade Montgomery squints through bloodshot eyes. The harsh fluorescent light catches every detail: the worn-out couch, the mismatched chairs, the mountain of snacks meant for gaming marathons. Mason's confident smirk fills the tense silence, an electric charge that makes Kade's heart race with anticipation. "I've got intel on Tech Titan's next move," Mason declares, his voice low and deliberate, punctuating the silence. The words hang in the air, heavy with implications. Zara Reyes leans forward, a spark of curiosity igniting in her expression as her fingers tap an impatient rhythm on the battered coffee table. Across the room, Leo Kim shifts uneasily in his chair, eyes glued to Mason's every gesture, as if expecting a hidden trap to spring. Kade's brow furrows, his mind racing with the implications. The digital landscape they navigate is treacherous. Tech Titan's ruthless tactics loom large, casting shadows over their aspirations. "Why should we trust you?" he snaps, his analytical nature coming to the forefront, eyes narrowing in suspicion. The room holds its breath, a tension-filled silence settling in. Mason meets Kade's gaze head-on, unfazed by the challenge, a calculating glimmer flickering in his hazel eyes. "Because you'll need this," Mason responds, unflinching. He gestures toward his smartphone lying on the battered coffee table, screen glowing like an invitation to chaos. Rhea Patel, stationed in a corner with her culinary utensils, shoots a look at Mason that blends skepticism with intrigue. "How do we know this isn't just a ploy to stir up drama?" she muses, arms crossed, a tone of playful defiance woven into her words. Zara, ever the mediator, attempts to bridge the growing divide. "Let's not jump to conclusions. We all know how fierce Tech Titan can be. Maybe Mason has something solid." Her enthusiasm radiates warmth, even as it collides with Kade's competitive nature. The group's dynamics shift like a game board, strategizing their next moves, each player contemplating their stance. Mason leans closer, dropping his voice conspiratorially. This isn't just about us. If Tech Titan makes their next move unchecked, it could jeopardize everything we're building. A ripple of understanding washes over the group, undercurrents of anxiety bubbling just beneath the surface. Okay, Kade relents, leaning back as the tension in the room loosens, if only slightly. What's your plan then? He gestures towards the collection of encrypted files that Mason has now meticulously arranged on the faded rug. I want to see the data. The others draw nearer, a pack instinct kicking in as they cluster around Mason, their body language sharp and eager, a mix of wariness and determination painting the scene. Rhea tilts her head as she begins scanning the documents. Let's test your sincerity with a live cooking collaboration, she proposes, her hands animated, imagining the mixture of flavors and strategies. I can encode a message in one of my songs, Melody Carter interjects, strumming a few casual notes on her guitar. We could disguise our next move in the lyrics, play it during my stream. Jax Thompson, ever the decisive force in their ensemble, steps forward, clapping his hands sharply to regain focus. I'll be our liaison. Let's work out the details, and I'll handle the outreach. This has to be strategic, he asserts, rounding the conversation with his commanding presence. The rest nod curtly, sealing their cautious decision with a glance back at Mason, their expressions caught somewhere between hope and doubt. As the adrenaline settles into a tense focus, the dynamic shifts once more. Kade takes a deep breath, the stakes suddenly soaring higher. He may be wary of Mason's motives, but the looming threat of Tech Titan casts a shadow over their ambitions, igniting an urgency that could drive them together, or tear them apart. The meeting teeters on the edge, a dangerous game where the wrong move could change everything. The group huddles closer, their eyes flickering over the encrypted files that Mason has spread out like cards laid bare on a faded rug. The sense of urgency thrums in the air, intermingling with the curious buzz of creative energy as they comb through the details. Tech jargon and digital schematics strewn across their minds like ingredients in Rhea Patel's kitchen, waiting to be fused into something potent and unpredictable. Look at this, Mason points out, a casual confidence radiating from him as he moves from one section of the screen to another. These patterns in their coding signal a shift in strategy. Tech Titan is consolidating their power, targeting influencers in our space. Kade leans in, brow furrowing in concentration, dissecting the implications. They've done this before, he murmurs, calculating. Cutting off competitors at the knees. We need to take a proactive stance, gather intel of our own. His skepticism looms over them, a dark cloud battling against the lightning strikes of Mason's enthusiasm. Zara's quick to defend Mason. He wouldn't bring this to us unless he believed we could handle it, she counters, an unwavering loyalty shining through her words. The warmth in her tone serves as a balm against Kade's doubt. Leo, perched at the edge of the gathering, offers an insightful analogy. Trusting is like painting, he says quietly, his fingers twitching with creative tension. You blend colors with care, or you risk ruining the canvas. We should give Mason a chance to show his palette. Mason chuckles, appreciating the artistic metaphor. I promise you, I'm not painting with shades of gray. I'm ready to splash some bold colors if it means we're a step ahead. With the attention refocused, Rhea raises her hands excitedly, cutting through the tension. All right, let's channel this into something productive. I have this idea for a live cooking collaboration. Her enthusiasm radiates as she launches into plans, hands flying like spatulas through the air, picturing the setup in vivid detail. We can create a fusion dish, inspired by tech titans' bland corporate food. Think about it. Cooking can be a medium for messaging, subtly dishing out critiques of their practices while showcasing our community spirit. Laughter erupts, Zara shaking her head. Perfect. You mean we're going to roast them literally? The banter flickers like sparkles in their eyes. Kade quips back, as long as it doesn't turn into a cooking disaster, our kitchen is bad enough as is. I volunteer to handle the social media blitz around it. Melody pipes in, strumming her guitar lightly. I could weave hidden meanings into the lyrics of a song or two. Something upbeat to contrast the serious nature of our message. Mason's smile widens, pleased with the spin on their collaborative potential. That's the spirit. We can sneak our intentions into the lyrics and use the cooking show as our front. Leo jumps in, and we could incorporate visual metaphors in your performance, Melody. Just as spices enhance a dish, your performance can elevate our message. As they brainstorm, Jack steps forward, asserting his leadership once more, voice steady as he lays out the next steps. Here's what we're going to do. Rhea and Melody can lead the creative direction while I handle the outreach and strategy for rolling this out. His authority resonates, pulling them into alignment like a well-tuned orchestra. Kade's analytical mind begins processing the unfolding plans. Social media tactics will have to be precise. We need to identify our key demographics and approach the influencers we want to target. The rest nod in agreement, their spirits lifted from Mason's initial bombshell. It's becoming less about the looming threat of tech titan and more about how they can use their creativity as a weapon. Food, music, and camaraderie intertwining to craft something dynamic and unpredictable. Amidst their discussions, a renewed sense of focus binds them together. Even with the stakes elevated, there's an unmistakable joy bubbling beneath the surface, igniting their spirits for the challenge ahead. They are on the brink of merging their distinct talents, turning the pressures of the digital age into a canvas of collaboration, ready to create, critique, and thrive together. Chapter 9: Operation Trojan Horse. Kade sits in the cluttered living room, the glow of multiple monitors illuminating his face as he navigates a labyrinth of code. Fingers flying over the mechanical keyboard, he projects a virtual simulation of the hack onto the wall, commands spilling from his lips. Focus on the firewall breach, he barks, urgency sparking in his sharp, observant eyes. The air is thick with anticipation. This is no mere game. It's an all-out assault on a corporate giant, and every second counts. One by one, the others gather around him, the cramped room feeling even smaller as personalities clash and overlap. Jax hunches over his tablet, the light flickering across his chiseled features. He taps away on his phone, veins of irritation threading through his brow. I'm pulling updates, he mutters, his voice a low rumble tinged with intensity. Information trickles in from political contacts, threads weaving into their strategy. He swipes through data, searching for intel that might give them the edge they need, eyes darting between the screen and Kade's rapid-fire commands. Morgan leans against a stack of tech magazines, laptop open, fingers busy. The perpetual dark circles beneath their eyes only deepen as they juggle multiple feeds, each one a lifeline to the real-time chaos outside their bubble. Got it, they reply quietly, a dry humor flickering in their tone as they absorb the data, typing notes with the precision of someone always on the edge, watching the game from the sidelines but ready to jump into the fray at a moment's notice. "Look here," Ava interjects, her voice melodic and steady as she unfurls a printed schematic of Tech Titan's security layout. The paper trembles slightly in her grasp, but her warmth radiates a calm that balances the rising tension. She points out key vulnerabilities with a laser focus, a motherly authority infused with expertise. "If we breach here, we can." Her explanation is met with sharp nods, Kade's attention pinned on her with a fierce gratitude. Each revelation is a key unlocking potential, an opening they can exploit. As Kade's hands fly across the keyboard, images of the firewall breach come alive on the screen, their mock security measures flashing like last-minute defenses. "Keep an eye on their internal traffic," he commands, the chaos surrounding him blurring into focus. The flicker of digital vectors dances in the glow, reminiscent of a fast-paced game gone serious, where stakes are amplified and outcomes determine futures. Jack straightens up for a moment, his focus sharpened, ready to impart more intel. "I've got some chatter from inside," he remarks, his voice lowering as he leans closer. They're on high alert, suspicions creeping in. The tension is palpable. He can feel it like a live wire in the room. He exhales slowly, recalibrating, pouring every ounce of strategic thought into the flow of information like a puzzle piece falling into place. In the flurry, Kade's sharp eyes dart to his crew, confidence radiating as they pull together. Each character solidifies their role, Jax as the intel warrior, Morgan as the tech-savvy supporter, and Ava as the tactical guide. They are no longer just individuals, but a well-oiled machine, geared to take on the corporate behemoth that is Tech Titan. "Everyone ready?" Kade asks, glancing at each team member in turn. "Just say the word," Morgan responds, their fingers still dancing across the keys as they absorb the feeds. Ava holds the schematic closer, a fierce determination igniting in her gaze. "Let's go." Jax takes a deep breath, focusing, breathing the shared tension that intertwines them. 3-2. He glances at Kade, excitement thrumming beneath his calm exterior. 1. Kade shouts, his fingers pummeling the keyboard, the room bursting alive with rapid keystrokes. The air thickens with the electricity of the moment. They launch their coordinated attack on Tech Titan systems, each stroke of a key a battle cry in the digital war. Lights blink, alerts ping, and the simulation glimmers in defiance against the corporate stronghold. This is it, the beginning of a meticulously orchestrated symphony of chaos and strategy. Lila stands in her makeshift recording nook, surrounded by an array of sensitive microphones poised like silent sentinels. The room hums with potential as she methodically adjusts each device, her hands moving with the precision of a practiced artist. Each whispering phrase she tests lingers in the air, a soft melody promising to cradle their mission in a cocoon of calm. She is the architect of serenity, stitching together a tapestry of sound designed to mask the impending chaos of the operation ahead. The first microphone picks up her voice, a gentle whisper that flows like warm honey. "Testing, testing." She adjusts the gain, eyes narrowing slightly as she focuses. The sound levels peak and fall in perfect harmony. Each phrase is more than a technical adjustment. It's a promise, a lifeline to peace amidst the storm. In the adjacent kitchen, Rhea is a whirlwind of activity, hands deftly whisking ingredients in a battered bowl. The earthy aroma of fresh herbs rises, curling through the air as she plates bite-sized power snacks on colorful ceramic dishes. Each dish is a work of art, vibrant and inviting, like a painter's palette spilling over. "Just a bit more basil," she hums to herself, her warm brown eyes sparkling as she focuses on the task. Her hands move with an effortless grace, embodying a blend of artistry and care that permeates everything she does. "Zara!" she calls out, just as the fitness guru bounds into view, her body a bundle of energy. "You've got to try these. Perfect for your stretches." Zara leans against the counter, her tone playful as she examines the dishes, her athletic form radiating determination and vivacity. With an infectious enthusiasm, Zara takes a bite, eyes lighting up. "These are amazing. You always know how to fuel us, Rhea." She pauses, gathering the group. "All right, everyone. Let's get some of that energy flowing." With a quick, animated gesture, she leads them through a series of sharp, timed stretches, her movements commanding attention as laughter echoes through the space. While the two engage in their playful banter, Leo reclines at a battered desk cluttered with sketch pads and a high-end tablet. His mop of jet-black hair falls into his eyes as he swipes through digital canvases, fragments of ideas flashing in his mind like images of a secret world. He pauses, fingers brushing over the screen, deeply focused on the art reflecting the chaos outside. The sound of whispered ASMR and Rhea's stirring pot create an odd harmony, feeding his creative process, an unintentional soundtrack to his artistic vision. Lila's voice weaves through the air, soft and melodic as she fine-tunes the microphone levels again, calibrating her words to ensure clarity. "And relax." Her whispering phases dance into the kitchen, mingling with Rhea's cooking and Zara's cheerful commands, creating a symphony of collaboration and warmth. "Perfect." Rhea glances towards Lila, grinning. "I hope your whispers calm us down. This is about to get wild." "Oh, it will," Lila murmurs, a teasing smile playing at the corners of her lips as she sets the camera focus, ready to capture each intimate moment. Zara stretches again, leading everyone through the routine, her body a graceful choreography. Inhale, reach for the ceiling. Each stretch draws laughter and easy camaraderie, easing the underlying tension of their mission. Keep it going. Feel the energy. Her voice punctuates the rhythmic movements, and soon Leo finds himself inspired by the fusion of sound, color, and warmth enveloping them. "Wait, let me get this," he interjects, his voice low and observant. He spins in his seat, capturing the scene around him with swift strokes of his stylus. The hidden symbols and markers layer on his canvas, bringing the atmosphere alive in a riot of shades, crisp greens of fresh herbs, the soft glow of Lila's whisper, and the vibrant hues of Rhea's culinary delights. In this chaos of creativity, the room becomes a sanctuary of sorts. Each character blends effortlessly into the next, movements echoing off each other like a finely tuned orchestra. Lila's calm, Rhea's nurturing warmth, Zara's contagious enthusiasm, and Leo's quiet artistry construct an intricate dance of preparation, echoing their mission spirit in their vibrant lives as digital content creators. "Just a few more adjustments," Lila states, the whisper laced with determination. Rhea and Zara continue to prepare, laughter bubbling forth, and Leo's strokes quicken with a newfound rhythm. This moment becomes an unlikely haven, a cozy room transformed into a battleground of creativity, waiting for their coordinated efforts to come to life. The team reconvenes in the living room, each member stationed at their designated instrument for the operation. The atmosphere is taut with anticipation as Kade's simulation runs on the dominant screen, projections of digital chaos flashing vividly against the walls. The room is a digital battleground, each keystroke a heartbeat in the coming storm of their meticulously crafted assault on Tech Titan's defenses. Everyone knows their role? Kade scans the room, sharp eyes landing on each member, the tension bubbling just beneath the surface. Jax meets his gaze, nodding, his confidence a steady pulse amid the electric air. Let's break this down, Jack says, his voice echoing in the charged silence. Morgan, you keep us connected. Ava, keep an eye on those vulnerabilities. Lila. His eyes flash toward her. Let the ASMR handle the security staff. We need that distraction in place. Morgan's fingers dart over the tablet, digital timelines synchronized like clockwork. They tap a command, feeding live updates into their consciousness as they lean into the flow of information. I'm ready, just give the signal, they affirm, determination written all over their tired expression. Kade turns to Ava, who stands firm, the schematic held tight in her hands. We breach here. This vulnerability gives us the best chance. She gestures to the screen where the simulation lays bare the structure, highlighting their target. They won't see it coming. Excellent, Kade replies, voice cutting through the air with confidence. He types rapidly, ensuring all their data streams align, the rhythm of his commands becoming a prelude to their assault. Let's get this show on the road. Lila sits in a corner, calm and centered, hands moving deftly over her controls. She pulls up her ASMR playback, soft whispers winding through the space, the sound akin to a gentle breeze wafting through an open window. The combination of tapping and calming syllables fills the room, an auditory camouflage prepared for the coming storm. The calm before the chaos is palpable. It envelops them like a blanket, every note carefully crafted to provide a soothing distraction. Remember, stay focused, Zara says, her athletic body poised and ready. She exchanges encouraging glances with each team member, a warm fire lighting up their expressions. We've got this. Final countdown, Kade intones, steady and unwavering. His fingers hover above the keyboard, the silence wrapping around them like a taut wire. 3. A collective breath draws in, each team member synchronizing with Kade's rhythm, their shared resolve igniting the energy in the room. 2. Jax murmurs, leaning closer to the screens, each pulse in his body mirroring the rising stakes. 1. Kade's shout cracks through the tension like thunder, fingers pummeling the keyboard. The room erupts in a flurry of sound, whispers, fingers dancing over keys, and the beeping of devices blaring in tandem as they launch their assault. Chaos becomes the air they breathe, a cacophony of calculated moves and digital warfare. Streams of code swirl like a storm, each character on their respective mission, combining their skills into a unified force. Lila's ASMR quiets the anxiety of the security team. They are lulled into complacency, oblivious to the gathering storm at the doors of Tech Titan's fortress. In this climactic moment, their unity becomes their weapon. Every keystroke reverberates with a shared heartbeat, a force that underscores their mission, fueled by friendship and determination. They are not just individuals, but a single entity poised to dismantle the wall before them, shattering the false sense of security that envelops their target. As the clock ticks away, the stakes continue to rise. In this battle of wits and resolve, they stand together, ready to unleash chaos on a system that never expected an attack from within their digital realm. Together, they charge ahead into the unknown, each moment woven with purpose, intent, and an unyielding spirit. Chapter 10. The hack heard round the world. In the dim glow of multiple screens, Kade slams his fingers against the keyboard, each mechanical click echoing like gunfire in a digital battlefield. Code floods his vision, cascading lines morphing into layers of strategy. The air buzzes with electricity, a charge amplified by the whir of computers and the intoxicating smell of brewing coffee. It's chaos, but it's his chaos, and he's ready to command it. To Kade, the universe outside the confines of this tech haven feels irrelevant. Each keystroke is a move on an endless chessboard, He's always 3 steps ahead in his mind, strategizing against an invisible adversary. "We're cutting it close," he murmurs to himself, the tension coiling tighter as the clock ticks down on the central command interface. The lights flash red, warnings scrolling across his monitors, but he thrives on the thrill of pressure, fingers racing faster as they weave complex algorithms. Focus, he thinks. Every code is a battle cry. Meanwhile, Lila flips open her laptop, the soft click of the lid punctuated by the muffled chaos of Kade's storm. She adjusts her microphone with precise, deliberate motions, her demeanor a stark contrast to the frenetic energy around her. A calm oasis amidst the storm. Her recorded whispers seep into the space, wrapping around the team like a gentle embrace, an attempt to soothe nerves frayed by the looming deadline. This is her magic, turning whispers into armor against anxiety. Rhea darts among the crew, her eyes bright with purpose, a whirlwind of organization and energy. She pushes a dented metal cart laden with trays of pre-packed energy bars and steaming coffee, her movements fluid and practiced. "Get your fuel, folks," she chirps, flashing a warm smile as she makes sure everyone has what they need. The click of her heels resonates against the concrete floor, a melody of determination that drives the team forward. "We're in this together," she calls out, checking in on Kade with a quick nod, her faith in him unwavering. At the center of this organized chaos, Zara's smartwatch beeps insistently. "All right, team, let's loosen up." Her voice slices through the noise, crisp and commanding. As she leads a quick series of stretching exercises, her enthusiasm is contagious. "Breathe, stretch, shake it out." Each command is punctuated with the confidence of an athlete, encouraging the team to find moments of calm in their frantic work. Their limbs move as one, tension releasing with every exaggerated stretch, the camaraderie solidifying beneath the weight of urgency. On the fringes, Leo sits, eyes glued to his screen, fingers dancing over the keys in an intricate ballet of code. Lines flood his monitor like a digital waterfall, each stroke echoing the hidden rhythms of his mind. Inputting a hidden script, he deftly shreds through digital firewalls, feeling the thrill of manipulation at his fingertips. He can almost visualize the art of it. The code is a brush, and the monitors his canvas. He's carving a new reality, every breakthrough a testament to his creative prowess. A slight smirk crosses his lips. In this world, he's not merely a cog, he's a creator. As Melody's soft rhythmic tune flows from a nearby speaker, the tension finds a pulse of its own, syncing perfectly with Jax's clipped tactical dialogue. "Firewall at 40%, next phase ready," Jax commands, his voice authoritative, slices through the cacophony. He stands tall, an unwavering captain steering the ship, every word sharpened to cut through the noise. "We don't have much time, let's execute the plan now." His presence is magnetic, drawing the focus of the team as they pivot in response to his direction. Amidst the backdrop of flickering screens, Morgan and Ava tap furiously on their tablets, each flick of their fingers meticulously coordinating multi-angle system feeds. "We've got split views," Morgan relays, voice steady, eyes flicking between screens. Ava nods in agreement, her analytical mind processing data in real time, crafting visual flows that will ensure the team's synchronized efforts don't falter. As Kade reads the screens around him, the numbers and symbols pulsate like a heartbeat, driving the tension even higher. The energy in the room is palpable, a blend of anxiety and fierce determination. It's a collective push, everyone moving toward the same goal. With every moment that passes, they are edging closer to the precipice, where the results of their efforts will either lead to victory or a tumble into chaos. As the clock continues its relentless countdown, Kade's fingers fly over the keyboard, igniting a fusion of urgency and focus. It feels as though the entire world outside this haven has receded, reduced to mere background noise, as if the universe is holding its breath along with them. But this won't last forever. A tension builds in the air, an expectation of what's to come. They stand on the edge, poised to dive into the unknown, each character an integral piece in the mosaic of impending confrontation. And together, they are unstoppable. The screens flash with frantic urgency, red warnings cascading like a digital storm. Kade's heart races, pounding against his ribs as his gaze flits between numbers and icons, each one pulsating with implications. Sweat beads on his forehead, a testament to the rising stakes. They are close now, perilously close to unveiling truths that could shatter everything. With each keystroke, Kade feels the weight of the room's collective anxiety, a palpable tension thickening the air as time dwindles. He taps furiously at his keyboard, his mind racing. "We're almost there," he mutters, almost as a reassurance to himself. Data streams past, alive and electric, turning from chaos into clarity. For a moment, a thrill courses through him, a fleeting vision of success that quickly darkens into an understanding of the potential fallout. The flickering monitors cast shadows across his face, reflections of doubt battling against his unyielding determination. Yes. Yes. He can't help the exhilaration in his voice as vital data flashes before his eyes, revealing connections hidden beneath layers of obfuscation. Emails stamped with timestamps, scrolling financial records filled with misappropriations, algorithm blueprints that weave intricate stories of deceit, all waiting to be unearthed. Yet as excitement builds, an undercurrent of fear tugs at him. What will they do with this knowledge? Will it be enough? Lila remains in her world of whispers, her ASMR audio washing over the tension-filled room. She adjusts her headphones, her fingers dancing over controls, ensuring the calming sound stays steady amidst chaos. Yet beneath her composed surface, doubt creeps in. Will they feel reassured? She wonders, feeling the anxious energy buzzing like static in the air. She wishes to be their anchor, to remind them that they're all in this together. Her gentle reminders of self-care slip through the audio, hidden amongst the tension. "Come on, team, keep that energy up." Zara's voice slices through the static of anxiety, her smartwatch buzzing as she monitors heart rates and activity levels. This is the final stretch. Her commands urge them to stay focused, energizing a group battling exhaustion and pressure. Stay sharp. Remember why we're here. Her presence is electric, channeling their stress into a common purpose, pushing them beyond their limits. Launch failsafe now. Jax commands, his voice resonating with intensity that pulls the team closer. He grips his headset tighter, each instruction precise and calculated, cutting through the noise. He's a ship captain navigating through treacherous waters, his eyes scanning the waves for any hint of turbulence. We can't afford to make mistakes. Each word is an anchor, pulling them back from the edge of chaos. The atmosphere thickens with expectation, leaving no room for doubt. Suddenly, alarms shriek through the air, a cacophony of panic. Kade's heart sinks as he watches one of the systems begin to flicker. "No, no, no," he mutters, fingers racing to assess the malfunction. The screens stutter, lines of code glitching before his eyes. The room shifts, focus narrows, all eyes on him. The stakes have risen, and this could be the critical moment they cannot afford to lose. "Leo, I need you to," Kade begins, but Leo is already ahead, absorbing the visual cues that flit across the screens like a living organism. The artist's eyes narrow, filled with an unyielding concentration. He stands, pushing his chair back with intent, already deciphering the underlying issue as if the codes speak a secret language only he understands. Give me a moment. I think I can reroute it, he says, voice steady against the tide of panic. As the team holds its breath, Leo's fingers fly, his quiet energy humming as he draws from the well of his artistry. Lines of code transform under his command, flowing from chaotic fray into harmonious form, revealing paths where once there were walls. Kade watches, a mixture of hope and fear tugging at his insides. Could this work? Will this save them? Amidst the rapid-fire exchanges, Morgan's voice rises, "We're almost through. Keep pushing." Ava's fingers tap furiously on her tablet, every action mirroring a metronome, counting down to impact. Together, they shift their coordination to meet the rising challenges, their bonds solidifying like rivets in metal, forging an impenetrable front against chaos. With Kade's final decisive keystroke, everything aligns, data lines rearranged, threats neutralized, the critical piece falling into place. It's a moment suspended in time, a culmination of effort that radiates the bittersweet taste of success mixed with uncertainty. The screen lights up, a burst of green as the systems stabilize, re-establishing order in the mayhem. "We did it!" Kade exclaims, though the jubilance is tinged with an undercurrent of disbelief. Yet as the room erupts in a mix of cheers and exhalations of relief, the bittersweet edge remains, a reminder that what lies ahead could redefine everything they know. The screens continue to flicker, warnings lurking just beneath the surface, like shadows yet to reveal themselves. The final wave of adrenaline begins to settle, and with it, the team realizes they are only at the beginning of a battle much larger than they ever anticipated. Chapter 11: Viral Vindication. In the flickering glow of a multi-screen setup, Kade Montgomery's fingers dance over the keys like a concert pianist struck by adrenaline. The cluttered walls of his gaming room reverberate with the electric energy of impending revelation, each keystroke louder than the last, pushing him closer to his purpose. "Time to expose the truth," he shouts into the headset, voice hoarse with determination as he prepares to dive into the murky depths of a digital conspiracy. Monitors pulse with vibrant images, the darkness of his room only interrupted by the harsh light of his setup, complex codes and digital streams flashing ominously before him. Across the house, in a softly lit sanctuary, Lila Vaughn adjusts her high-end microphone, her fingers dancing delicately across the audio mixer. Her small, decorated room envelops her like a hug, filled with muted colors and carefully arranged trinkets that reflect her nurturing spirit. Yet inside a gentle storm brews, her heart races, nerves thrumming with the awareness that every whisper she records carries weight. She breathes in deeply, finds her grounding, and begins the soft taps that will draw in her listeners, a quiet engagement built on intimacy. Meanwhile, in her modest kitchen, Rhea Patel is elbow-deep in the chaotic symphony of fresh produce. The sunlight spills through the window, catching dust motes in its warm embrace as she arranges a row of vibrant vegetables on her tarnished porcelain plate. There's an artistry to her movements, the way she gently selects each ingredient with an intensity that reveals her perfectionist nature. Each placement is intentional, revealing a narrative only she knows, while the faint rhythm of her voice narrating the process emerges with delicious enthusiasm, masking the nagging doubts that threaten to spill over. Zara Reyes stands poised in a spare room, transformed into her own motivational dojo, surrounded by posters of athletes in mid-motion, their energy electrifying the air. She stretches, muscles coiled like springs, feeling the pulse of competition thrum through her. A watchful eye tracks her workout timer, each beep reverberating with urgency, a cue to push harder and dig deeper. "Let's crush this workout," she exclaims to the unseen audience, voice bright, exuding the confidence of a natural leader ready to invigorate anyone watching her through the screen. Leo Kim's art studio is a blend of organized chaos, layers of his creative process splashed across a myriad of surfaces, canvas, tablet, even the wooden table beneath him. He leans over his graphics tablet, swiping with focused precision, letting the pixels form worlds unseen and visions yet to unfold. Each line and shade reflects the nuances of his mind, a whirl of thought swirling amidst the stains of paint on his fingers. It's a quiet space, despite the buzz of activity outside, where only the muted sound of his stylus on the screen fills the silence, a sanctuary where every stroke hides the pressure to conform to an ever-fleeting digital marketplace. In the corner of the house that speaks to her artistic spirit, Melody Carter tunes her guitar, fingers flying over the strings as she prepares to stream her musical journey. Clutter surrounds her, a vintage dress draped over a chair, a spectrum of notes scattered like falling leaves, but in her chaos there's a calculated intent. A flick of her wrist ignites a melody that vibrates with raw emotion. She flicks her red hair back and gives a half smile, knowing that the audience is waiting for something genuine, a real spark amid the noise of modern music. Meanwhile, in a cramped bedroom-turned-political studio, Jax Thompson paces, rehearsing phrases into a microphone as he adjusts the angle of his camera. His deep voice resonates in the confined space, commanding yet intimate, an assurance that emboldens him against the swirling uncertainty of public opinion. "These numbers speak for themselves," he mutters, a sense of righteous anger lighting a fire in his eyes. This moment, this broadcast, isn't just another stream. It's a confrontation with the digital age's absurdities, a challenge to status quos he has sworn to disrupt. As they prepare, isolated yet interconnected in the chaos of 7 streams, a collective mission pulses beneath the surface, waiting to explode into the online void. The threads are drawn tight, tension humming with anticipation. Each character, with their unique voice and purpose, readies themselves, not just to perform but to make history in the digital landscape. The countdown begins. As the clock strikes the hour, the digital world pulses with life, each character poised for impact. With a tap, Kade's stream ignites, electricity sparking through the air, while Lila's soft whispers meld seamlessly into the backdrop. It's a symphony of intent, each note poised to cut through the noise of deception that blankets the digital age. A moment of synchronized chaos that holds the weight of truth in its hands. "Welcome back, gamers," Kade exclaims, fingers flying as he navigates through a labyrinth of data on screen. Rapid keystrokes echo through the cramped room, an anthem to digital revolution. His monitor fills with manipulated game files, evidence of an intricate conspiracy at play. Viewer comments flood the stream, a chaotic rush of disbelief and intrigue. "Look at this. Data that they think we won't uncover. This isn't just gaming, this is about power." His voice peaks, the energy soaring, rallying those listening to join in his fervor. In contrast, Lila's ASMR video hums softly, her voice like silk. "Welcome, my lovely listeners. Today, I'll be guiding you through the calming sounds of truth," she whispers, fingertips tapping lightly on props set out with care. Each click aligns perfectly with Kade's louder revelation, seamlessly revealing coded messages hidden in the layers of her video. A montage of tranquil visuals sets the mood, while her camera pans to reveal the chalkboard hinting at the tech titan data, creating a gentle undertow that complements the rising intensity around her. Rhea's cooking segment bubbles into life, her hands busy layering ingredients with artful precision. "Today, we're making something special. Each piece is essential, just like uncovering the truth," she explains with a warm smile, her spatula flicking in rhythm to her instructions. Behind her, The chalkboard is adorned with a numeric code that matches the evolving conspiracy, waiting to click into place for attentive viewers. Her confidence shines through, despite the whispers of anxiety tugging at her mind. "Join me, and let's create something that feeds both body and soul," she continues, her voice filled with enthusiasm that masks any wavering uncertainty. Across the house, Zara leads her audience through a whirlwind of exercises, each burpee and squat synchronized with an unseen timer counting down their collective motivation. "Let's push past our limits together. Trust me, I know how hard this journey can be," she shouts, radiating an infectious energy. The workout mat glistens under her focus. Sweat glistens on her brow as she syncs her movements with a scrolling ticker on her tablet, revealing the stock market's direct reactions to the revelations unraveling across their networks. The air thickens with determination, her timing as precise as the conspiracy she's rallying against. On the other side of the house, Leo clicks through his digital art pieces, his tablet mirroring the frenetic energy of the simultaneous streams. Brushstrokes unfurl in bursts of color, each piece coding a narrative about the ongoing deception. His audience watches the creation come to life, lingering on the hidden messages entwined within each artful flourish. "See how every line reveals the hidden truths?" he murmurs, tone quiet yet charged with purpose. The imagery intertwines with the other streams, a visual manifesto amplifying the urgency felt by the house's creators. And amidst the rising cacophony, Melody's guitar vibrates with emotion, grounding the audience with resonant chords that weave in and out of the other sounds. "This is a song for the brave," she sings, her voice soaring above the chaos like a beacon. Notes echo through the stream, enveloping listeners in a soundscape that evokes both solace and a rallying cry for action. Each strum merges with Kade's urgent revelations and Rhea's comforting voice, a melodic backdrop against which their combined battle plays out. As the streams unfold, an overwhelming surge in viewer engagement sparks, hashtags multiplying as digital notifications ping relentlessly. The atmosphere thickens with adrenaline. Unity arises from the isolation of individual setups, collectively honing in on a singular aim. They are not merely streaming, they are instigating a revolution, a digital uprising that exposes the hidden truths beneath the gloss of polished interfaces. Viewership skyrocketing. Kade announces breathlessly, fingers flying across his keyboard as he highlights new evidence. "This is just the beginning. Keep sharing, keep watching." His enthusiasm echoes, commanding attention, as he inadvertently amplifies Lila's whispered hints, Rhea's vibrant cooking, Zara's fierce determination, Leo's raw art, and Melody's stirring anthem. Each performance entwines with the others, an intricate dance on the virtual stage, revealing the truth one piece at a time. The noise of revelation drowns out the silence of complicity, shaking the very foundations of Tech Titan as the digital age breathes life into a collective awakening. The digital landscape trembles with an electricity born from unity, numbers dancing across screens as viewer engagement skyrockets. Kade's commentary builds to a crescendo, fingers racing over keys, while across the house, quiet reflections transform into a palpable storm of revelations. It's the climax they've orchestrated together, the truth made visible amid a backdrop of roaring voices and united ambitions, culminating in a shared moment of triumph. "Keep this going, people. Look at these numbers." Kade's voice is nearly a howl, urgency rippling through his tone as he points to the latest figures on the screen. His excitement burgeons, fueled by the adrenaline that comes from unmasking corruption. Every click, every share is a step closer to making Tech Titan answer for this. "We've got their back against the wall now." The chatter in his chat explodes, Viewers echo his passion. This is incredible. We're winning. Pacing before the screen, he becomes a commander rallying troops, building on the outrage and validating the outrage he sees mirrored in their comments. Across the house, Lila subtly shifts the recording angle, capturing the mounting energy around her. As you breathe in these sounds, let's focus on the calm that comes from knowing the truth. The whispers that lead us here, she coaxes softly, crafting a bridge between her gentle style and the pulsating chaos surrounding her. Her props, arranged meticulously, now feel charged with a purpose. The hints she provided are slowly aligning into a cohesive narrative. Lila savors the moment. The realization of her own power unfolds, reinforcing her belief in the difference they are making together, transforming fear into solidarity through shared experience. Rhea turns toward her camera, holding up a beautifully plated dish, the last piece of her segment. And here we have it, every ingredient bringing us together, representing every effort we've made. Let's savor this moment, everyone. Together, we can feed not just our bodies, but the hunger for justice. Her nurturing voice breaks through the digital barriers, intertwining her passion for cooking with the urgency of their mission. She feels a vulnerability wash over her. The polished image she works hard to maintain clashes against the intense scrutiny of viewers. But in this moment of celebration, surrounded by the warmth of online connection, the pressures fade, revealing strength in her vulnerability. Zara finishes her final burpee, breathless, her heart racing from the exercise and the thrill of the moment. We've done it, team. This is what community looks like. She gestures to the ticker on her tablet, displaying Tech Titan's stock values plummeting. Each drop signifies victory. It's exhilarating, proof that their collective effort is shaking the foundations of complacency. With the sweat of determination on her brow, she reflects on her growth, a transformation from competition to community. The workout is a celebration of resilience, uniting them in a powerful acknowledgement of their shared purpose. In his studio, Leo experiences a whirlwind of emotion as he watches his art live on screen, crafting the final pieces. His montage, a rapid sequence of powerful imagery tied to the movement, flashes across digital platforms. "This is our fight," he murmurs, breathing life into the colors and codes woven together. Viewer reactions surge. Every message serves as validation for the passion poured into his work. The final art piece he shares, a composition pulsating with the essence of their revolution, becomes a visual legacy, and he feels the swell of purpose rise within him. Finally, Melody wraps her fingers around the strings, releasing the final chords of her performance, each note resonating like a battle cry for justice. The echoes of her sound reach into the hearts of viewers, bridging gaps with melody and emotion. "This song is for the brave hearts that fight for what's right," she declares, emotion threading through her words, her voice empowered by the shared experience of the moment. Notifications flood in, viewers captivated by her art as it intersects with the unfolding truth, transforming sound into signal and anthem for change. As they celebrate, a live feed overlay illuminates Jax's frame, the monitor exploding with headlines, "Tech Titan stock crashes 40%, investigation launched." He meets the camera's gaze, intensity reflected in his eyes, and a triumphant smile breaks through. "We made this happen," he states with unwavering authority, his voice a testament to their collaboration. Together, they crafted something that transcended screens and solidified a community built on revelation, resolve, and rebellion. In that moment, they are not merely streamers, they are a force, uniting their voices, talents, and passions into an anthem for accountability. The absurdities of the digital age fall away, replaced with the tangible impact of their truth, echoing through the virtual corridors of their shared universe. Each character revels in their unique triumph, knowing that this is just the beginning of their journey. Together, they've rewritten the narrative. Chapter 12: The Double Cross. In the flickering light of the old living room, remnants of their latest victory lie scattered across the chipped furniture. A half-empty soda can, a glowing laptop, and a cooling rack of cookies from Rhea's stress baking. Kade's fingers race over the keyboard, eyes bloodshot and focused, as he sifts through digital breadcrumbs, searching for the elusive thread that ties them all to this moment of revelation. "Come on," he mutters under his breath, watching lines of code race across the screen, his heart pounding in sync with the rapid clack of keys. Time blurs. Hours have disappeared into the dim glow of this room, yet the urgency escalates with each passing second. The door bangs open, pulling the group's attention. Mason Lee strides in, confidence radiating from his crisp button-down shirt. His briefcase in hand, he exudes authority, the kind that can cut through the room's murmur like a sharp knife. "I did this, and one of you helped me." His voice resonates, ringing clear amidst the chaos. Jax's speech halts mid-sentence, confusion knitting his brows together as he takes in Mason's proclamation. Zara's sharp glance at Leo speaks volumes, tension heavy between them, a silent dialogue threading through shared unease. Lila edges forward, her hands raised, the instinct to soothe clear in her posture. "Wait, let's talk about this," she suggests, her voice soft but firm, a melody against the backdrop of mounting anxiety. Melody's guitar, perched quietly in the corner, stands as a stark reminder of the comfort they seek, now overshadowed by Mason's confrontation. She halts her tuning, her gaze fixed on Mason, uncertainty quaking in her core. Each face shifts in shadow and light, reflecting emotions tangled between fear and intrigue. "I know it sounds extreme," Mason presses, intensity threading through his words. "But I've got proof." He brandishes printed evidence, the sheets crinkling in his grip, every eye in the room drawn to him like moths to a flame. Kade's fingers still, and the room fills with an oppressive silence, every breath held tight as he lifts his gaze. A growing weight anchors their hearts. "What proof?" he challenges, suspicion dripping from his voice. "What do you have?" The air thickens, charged with unsaid accusations, while the remnants of cookies, a token of their past victory, serve as a bitter juxtaposition to the fracturing unity. It's a moment suspended, electric and tense, holding the room in its grasp, waiting for one voice to break the spell. "Let's not rush to conclusions," Lila attempts once more, but her words drown in the building storm of emotion, each person poised between defense and revelation. The flickering lights dim ever further, cloaking them in shadows, even as the daylight dwindles outside, encasing them in a world that feels like it might implode. Mason stands firm, defiance woven into his very being, a commander on the battlefield of digital warfare. "The leak wasn't random," he states, his voice weaving through the tension, accusatory, as he thrusts the USB drive forward, the metallic gleam catching the light. With Jax's arms folding tightly across his chest, the atmosphere thickens. Zara leans in close to Leo, their whispers barely piercing the charged air. Their nervous scrutiny zeroes in on Mason. No words are exchanged, but the message is clear. This was not merely a twist of fate. Kade, the central figure now, senses the fracture as he takes a breath. He knows this might just be the turning point, the moment where each piece of the puzzle locks into place. "We have to check every log," he insists, a resolve swelling inside him. He keeps his voice low, as if raising it might shatter the delicate fabric of trust still hanging in the air. As the group deliberates, unspoken fears echo loudly among them, pressing on their minds and hearts as they are swept deeper into the web of uncertainty. In this moment, every breath feels consequential, and with every passing heartbeat, they edge closer to the inevitable revelation that might break their world apart. Kade slams his hands on the arm of a threadbare sofa, the fabric worn and familiar under his grip, as he cross-checks data on his multiple screens. The air thickens with tension, the rapid clack of keys punctuating rising voices in the cramped hallway, swirling with an urgency that refuses to dissipate. The screen glows back at him, numbers dancing like ghosts as he seeks clarity in the chaos. "You don't understand," Mason's voice booms, cutting through Kade's focused world. The leak wasn't random. He steps forward, brandishing a USB drive as if it's a wand of authority, gleaming ominously under the harsh overhead light. Kade glances at Rhea, who stands near the kitchen door, dusted with flour, her apron a stark contrast to the serious exchange unfolding. She wipes her hands on the stained fabric, eyebrows knitting together in concern. "Mason, we should just look at the data before jumping to conclusions," she urges, her voice carrying a soothing quality, wrapping around the frantic energy like a warm hug. "The data is irrelevant," Mason shoots back, his assertiveness unwavering. "What matters is who's complicit here. One of you," he gestures to the group, his eyes narrowing, "one of you enabled this." With a furtive glance, Jax shifts uncomfortably, his arms crossing defensively. The tension thickens as Zara leans close to Leo, their whispers too low to decipher, yet the urgency in their tones radiates, caught between siding with Kade and understanding Mason's perspective. "Hey!" Kade interjects, frustration bubbling just beneath the surface. "I can't work with accusations without proof. We need facts. Let's analyze what we have before pointing fingers." Lila, the calming presence, interjects gently. "Let's check every log," she suggests softly, her voice measured amidst the rising clamor. Each word she offers is laced with urgency, cutting through the noise as she glances toward Kade, her sincerity palpable. "No. The truth matters more than logs." Mason's gaze hardens, and Kade's patience begins to fray at the edges. Every syllable feels like an insurmountable barrier between them, the camaraderie once shared, now tested and fragile. Rhea hovers nearby, her nurturing instinct clashing with the chaotic atmosphere. "Let's just breathe for a moment, please," she pleads, reaching out slightly, her flour-dusted hands a representation of warmth against the storm of conflict. As Kade stands at the intersection of clarity and confusion, he can feel the tension coiling tightly around them, the atmosphere fraught with an unsaid urgency. Mason thrusts the USB drive forward again, metallic and accusatory. "The answer lies here," he insists, his tone harsh, dismissing the fragile dynamic that Lila and Rhea work to maintain. "What if I am wrong?" Jack speaks up suddenly, his voice taut, as if each word is a challenge to confront something buried deep within. "But what if Mason's right?" Zara, ever the tactical thinker, shifts slightly, whispering something to Leo, calculating, assessing. It's like they're trapped in a game where stakes are rising with every moment of indecision, and Kade feels it, the pressure of being the one to lead. Kade steels himself against the wave of accusations swirling through their heated discussion. We can't afford to let suspicion tear us apart. He knows the distance between trust and doubt shrinks with every second wasted. But Mason's resolute stance remains. The drive gleams, a reminder that someone here was involved in a betrayal they need to unravel. It's all too tangible, straining against the tight confines of the hallway, an unyielding reminder of their mission and the bonds they risk losing. "Fine, we check the logs," Mason concedes, though victory dances in his eyes, the hint of triumph that reveals more than he admits. "But this isn't just about data. It's about integrity, yours especially." The words drip with implications, challenging the group's dynamics, as Kade feels the heat of suspicion raise his own uncertainty. In the charged atmosphere, the line between camaraderie and suspicion blurs, and Kade feels the burden of leading them through this unraveling as the room holds its breath, waiting for clarity amidst the brewing storm. The final confrontation unfolds in the cluttered central room, where Kade's frantic typing casts erratic shadows on exposed brick walls, his mind racing to connect every dot while chaos brews around him. The whir of machines blends with the scratching of pens on paper, as if the very air is charged with an electric urgency. Zara and Leo hunch over a table littered with printed logs, their eyes scanning lines of highlighted code. Their whispered dialogue intertwines like two conspirators in a heist, low and urgent, the kind of exchange that echoes with tension. "Look at this pattern," Zara murmurs, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It matches the timestamps Mason provided." "Yeah," Leo replies, his voice barely above a whisper, "but we need to be sure." The edge in his tone betrays his struggle, artistically inclined but tangled in a world driven by conflict. Kade's fingers fly over the keyboard, each stroke imbued with desperation. He feels the weight of the moment, the decisions made in haste, and the potential rift within their group that Mason's presence has fanned into flames. "I need more time," he thinks, but time is an adversary, slipping through his fingers like grains of sand. As he runs through the data, a sudden flash on the screen catches his eye, a document that wasn't there moments before. He feels his pulse quicken, the shadows cast by the flickering monitor sharpening into focus. "Wait. This," he starts, his breath catching. Melody, perched on the side, fingers deftly dancing on her guitar strings, strums a discordant chord, a question hanging in the air. What's going on? Are we looking at the same thing? The group's attention pivots to Kade, whose heart races as he stares at the screen, unable to look away from the evidence materializing before him. It proves, he swallows, the enormity of his discovery weighing heavily on his mind. He leans closer, whispering, "It proves someone was working with Mason." Jax's posture shifts, a wave of tension washing over him. "What? Who?" His voice rises, splitting the charged silence as he takes a step forward, unease blooming like a dark flower in the pit of his stomach. Kade's gaze flits to the document, then back to the group. It feels like everything freezes, the collective breath held tight in anticipation, eyes darting, scrutinizing every twitch of the others. "It's not just about this document," he presses, the shadows flickering along the walls mirroring the unease inside him. "It's about loyalty." As each individual processes the information, the mood in the room shifts palpably. Melody's fingers slip off her guitar strings as if she's suddenly aware of how weighty their unspoken truths have become. The revelation hangs like a thick mist, edging them toward confrontation. Jax shakes his head, disbelief settling deep as he clutches the back of the chair for support. "You think I'd betray you?" He sounds incredulous, the accusation sparking in his chest. "I don't know what to think anymore," Kade shoots back, the fear gripping him more tightly than the tension from Mason's accusations. He struggles to maintain his composure, knowing that the choices made here could either tear them apart or force them to unite against a greater threat. With every heartbeat, the air crackles with unvoiced accusations and fears. The collective gaze shifts back toward Jax, searching for answers that may lie in his expression, a silent witness to the unraveling. The close-up of the document shifts their focus completely, the weight of the truth pressing in. Kade sees it, the stares, the doubt, and the realization sinking in. This was never going to end cleanly. No matter the outcome, they would all carry the burden of this fractured trust. The silence lingers, stretching like a taut wire as they hover at the precipice, and somewhere amidst the whirlpool of emotions and accusations, they sense the danger that lies ahead, waiting to consume whatever bonds remain. Chapter 13, Aftermath and Accountability. Kade slams his laptop closed, the resounding thud punctuating the air thick with tension. Voices swell, each character coiling tighter like springs, ready to snap. Zara's accusatory finger juts out, raw emotion fueling her every word. "You sold us out, Jax." Jax stands rigid, hands twitching near his sides, every muscle strained like the final stretch of a tightrope walker. He's caught between two worlds, the friends who used to trust him and the swirling abyss of their doubt. The memories of strategy meetings, late-night brainstorming sessions, are shadowed by his desperate need to maneuver through the labyrinth of choices he had to make, choices that feel heavier by the second. Zara steps closer, her voice cutting through the room like a knife. "How could you even think about going behind our backs? We're supposed to be a team." The competitive fire in her voice fuels the intensity of the moment. The stakes are no longer about the project but about loyalty, trust, and the fraying bond they've built. Across the room, Rhea stands clutching an eviction notice in trembling fingers, the crumpled paper a cruel reminder of the precariousness of their shared dream. "How are we supposed to trust you now?" she interjects, her voice wavering, every word dripping with hurt. She glances at the notice again, the reality of their situation crashing down upon her like a tidal wave. Each pulse of panic spreads through her body. She had believed in them all, had hoped against hope they would figure it out together. Leo leans back against the peeling wall, arms crossed over his chest, an island of calm amidst the storm. He observes, catching snippets of conversation while swirling thoughts cascade through his mind. He feels the weight of their collective frustrations, but his quiet nature keeps him anchored, perhaps too anchored. The fraying threads of their unity gnaw at him, the digital collage he'd been working on hanging uncompleted on his tablet. All the pieces matter. They all belong, yet they feel so far apart in this moment. Melody's guitar case thuds onto the floor, a crash echoing her fierce determination to bring them back together. "We built this together," she urges, trying to find the words to weave them back into something whole again. Her brow furrows as she searches for an entry point through the spiraling emotions, an artful arrangement to heal the ruptured sense of belonging. Voices escalate, accusations blurring together, creating a cacophony of raw feelings that reverberate against the cracked walls. Kade's gut churns, each person wrapped in their own emotional storm, threatening to drown them in the flood of doubt and anger. Enough. Kade finally roars, and silence collapses over them, sudden and palpable. He sweeps his gaze across the room, locking eyes with each housemate, searching for any flicker of understanding. The overhead lamp flickers ominously, casting jagged shadows that twist over scattered papers, overturned chairs, an embodiment of the frayed connections that bind them. For a brief, breathless moment, it feels as though the world outside pauses, caught in the act of watching, and Kade knows the gravity of this confrontation stretches far beyond what's spoken here. But within their chaotic space, what's unraveling before them is no less vital. This is their moment. Fractured as it is, it carries the possibility of repair, if they can face it together. Lila breathes in the soothing air of her cramped bedroom, preparing her ASMR station like an artist before a canvas. Soft light fills the space, creating a cocoon of warmth and safety. Plush pillows are arranged in a circle on the floor, inviting her housemates to enter this tranquil sanctuary. The delicate hues of pink and lavender, draping the walls, resonate with a calming hum that feels almost palpable, wrapping around each incoming person like an embrace. One by one, the housemates enter. First is Zara, her pulse still racing from the earlier confrontation. As she crosses the threshold, her posture loosens, shoulders dropping slightly as she breathes in the gentle atmosphere. Lila offers her a warm smile, the kind that signals an understanding that words need not fill the silence. "Just listen to the sound," Lila softly intones, her voice a melody that harmonizes perfectly with the delicate ambiance. Zara nods, settling into a plush pillow, her gaze directed toward the microphone, curiosity battling the lingering agitation within. She watches as Lila adjusts the mic, her delicate fingers brushing the surface in a choreography of care. The pressure of the outside world feels miles away, and for a fleeting moment, Zara begins to let go of her accusations. Next enters Jax, still carrying the weight of his earlier conviction. As he steps into the soft light, he draws a deep breath, the calming environment forcing a moment of reckoning. His brow furrows as he catches Lila's eye, an unspoken acknowledgement passing between them. Lila gestures toward a pillow, and he complies, but not without a lingering tension coiling beneath his calm surface. "Just listen," Lila reiterates, guiding him to close his eyes, to push aside the thoughts racing through his mind. Rhea follows, still feeling the thrum of disbelief from the earlier revelations. The chaos of the living room contrasts sharply with the serenity that envelops her now. Lila beckons her in with soft encouragement, brushing her hair behind her ear, and offering another gentle whisper, "You are safe here." Rhea sinks onto a pillow, and for the first time that day, she feels the grip of anxiety begin to loosen. Leo enters last, peering into the serene environment like a curious cat. His natural reticence pulls at him, yet the peaceful atmosphere invites him in. He eases himself onto a cushion, his presence a soft shadow against the vibrant backdrop. As Lila begins her session, the sound of a delicate brush runs over the mic, creating a soothing rustle that dances through the room. Lila's fingers glide gently across the microphone, and the whispering sounds cascade over her friends like a gentle tide. The intimacy of the moment envelops them, and she encourages her housemates with quiet affirmations. "You're doing great. Just breathe." Each word hangs in the air, a thread weaving their tensions into something lighter. The camera captures close-ups of each person's relaxed hands, fingers slightly splayed, gripping the edges of their pillows. Slow exhalations ripple through the group, visible proof of the calming influence around them. Nods and slight smiles begin to emerge, their initial unrest slowly melting away as Lila continues to guide them. As the performance progresses, the sounds of Lila's whispered voice, alongside the calming rustle of materials, unite them in a meditative state. It feels like a truce, a quiet pact against the discord of earlier battles. A shared experience begins to unfold, breathing life into a room once tinged with animosity. With every sound, Lila paints their emotional landscape, and as each housemate steps forward to participate, the room pulses with a renewed connection. When Melody leans in closer, her interest piqued, she finds herself completely immersed in the soothing experience. She whispers her own affirmations back into the mic, adding her notes to the tapestry of sound, blending into a harmonious serenade of their collective hope. Finally, Lila concludes the session, allowing silence to wash over them. The lingering shot captures the group in repose, soft focus encasing them in a golden glow. Here, beneath the surface of fragile relationships, they find a momentary peace, a reminder of the resilience tethering them together in this ever-turbulent world. The dilapidated kitchen hums with life as Rhea fires up the modest electric stove, the flickering light reflecting off chipped tiles. The air fills with the earthy aroma of fresh vegetables as she chops with swift, rhythmic motions. Each stroke of the knife against the cutting board becomes a heartbeat, pulsating through the home. She moves with a practiced grace, effortlessly blending technique and passion, her heart in every slice. The medley of colors sprawled across the cutting board, bright bell peppers, vibrant carrots, and deep greens, looks almost as animated as she feels. Each ingredient speaks to her love for cooking, transforming the space into a sanctuary of warmth amidst the chaos outside. The stove sizzles as she adds a splash of oil, steam rising like whispers of home. In the living room, Zara takes charge, the adrenaline from their earlier confrontation morphing into palpable energy. "Let's get moving, everyone. Push-ups first." Her voice rings with infectious enthusiasm, rallying the housemates into action. As bodies drop to the floor and hands meet carpet, a rhythmic cacophony of effort ensues, pushing tension aside. Rhea glances up from her cutting board, an amused smile creeping onto her face as she briefly watches the flurry of activity. Zara motivates them with a natural flair, jumping from exercise to exercise, issuing commands like a coach pushing her team to dig deeper. Amidst the sweat and laughter, the clatter of pans melds into a chaotic symphony of rebirth. At a rickety table near the kitchen, Leo sits, the glow from his tablet illuminating his concentrated features. He's absorbed in his work, piecing together a nearly completed digital collage of the housemates. Each stroke of his stylus captures the essence of their collective experience, fractured yet hopeful. He feels the weight of his isolation melt away with every stroke, channeling emotions he can't vocalize into something visually expressive. A faint strumming sound pulls his attention. Melody is perched on a nearby stool, guitar in hand, crafting lyrics inspired by their shared tribulations. "I can't seem to shake this feeling, you know," she murmurs, her voice a soft hum layered with melody. Scribbling on a torn piece of paper, her fingers move swiftly, capturing thoughts like leaves in the wind, each lyric reflecting their struggles, their perseverance. Jax, easing into the kitchen, steps in to help Rhea, who stands at the stove, humming to herself. "Do you need any help?" he asks, though his tone is tentative, his intention uncertain. Rhea glances at him, a flicker of surprise illuminating her features before she nods, wordlessly passing him a towel and a handful of dishes to dry. His hands work, actions deliberate, and for a moment, the heavy silence that hung over them thickens, a stark contrast to the buzzing kitchen. Rhea feels a mixture of gratitude and hesitation as Jax stands beside her, the kitchen becoming a space of tentative reconciliation. Their past struggles intertwine with a shared purpose, but the shadow of their earlier fight still lingers. She casts sidelong glances, trying to gauge the intentions behind Jax's commitment to helping. Each time their eyes meet, unvoiced questions linger, floating between them. As the kitchen fills with the comforting sounds of chopping and sizzling, the living room's energy shifts. Zara finishes her session, flopping onto the floor, panting yet exhilarated. "All right, team. Great work. Who's next?" Laughter bounces off the walls, dislodging some of the tension built earlier. The playful banter blends into the kitchen's rhythm, merging their spirits as they strive toward healing. Rhea, finishing the last of her cooking, wipes her hands on her apron and turns to face her friends. "Dinner's almost ready," she calls, the shift in her voice announcing a call to unity. Leo shifts his attention, offering a warm smile, while Melody's fingers rest momentarily on the strings, intrigued. Soon they gather around the table, the room bathing in the soft light of sunset seeping through the grimy window panes. Plates fill with vibrant dishes that mirror the newfound energy radiating from the group, each serving symbolizing a rebuilding of their connection. As laughter bubbles to the surface, each housemate shares snippets of their day, breathing new life into their bonds. Amidst the chatter, a collective nod signals their willingness to begin anew. They lean into one another's energy, shaping the remnants of their struggles into something nourishing. The kitchen hums with the rhythm of shared experiences, their vulnerabilities transforming into strength. As the evening settles, a wide shot captures the group surrounding the table. Laughter in the air, plates piled high, all faces illuminated by a hopeful glow. Here, in the heart of their home, they are stitching together a future from the frayed ends of yesterday, building a narrative that speaks of trust and resilience. Each plate, every laugh, a small testament to their renewed commitment to one another, marking the beginning of something fresh and hopeful. Chapter 14: Rebranding and Renewal. In the dim light of his cluttered room, Kade sits at his desk, fingers flying across keys like a concert pianist in a frenzy. The glow from multiple screens dances over his sharp, observant eyes, illuminating the disarray that signifies his driven nature. Digital literacy is survival today, he declares into the microphone, the brisk cadence of his speech a testament to the relentless pressure of his ambitions. Screens flash with stats, diagrams, and snippets of code, all while the chaotic hum of his world vibrates around him. Kade's brow furrows as he reviews his words, each segment meticulously crafted but not yet polished, a patchwork that demands his utmost focus. The hours spent refining tutorials bleed into his consciousness, each keystroke drumming up flashes of his past, where he fell short in the competitive esports realm and found refuge in the streaming world. Across the hallway, Lila inhabits her own universe, a soundproofed closet turned intimate studio. Soft, muted tones bathe the walls, and as she adjusts her microphone, she allows the slightest of smiles to slip. The gentle murmur of her practice phrases punctuates the silence like whispers in a library, coaxing her to find balance within herself. Her delicate fingers reach for the headset, tucking a strand of flowing chestnut hair behind her ear, as she repositions the acoustic panels around her. Today feels different, she muses, a quiet resolve bubbling beneath her gentle exterior. It's not just about the sounds, she reminds herself, a mantra against the creeping anxiety that surfaces whenever she steps away from her soothing ASMR persona. She leans into the microphone, the words spilling forth like a calm tide. Each whisper is a way to find peace. The room holds its breath, allowing her voice to float, nurturing and serene, tethering her to purpose even in the chaos of her mind. In the cramped kitchen below, Rhea digs into the heart of community and sustenance. She flicks on the smartphone set on the tripod, adjusting the angle just right, its light illuminating her warm brown eyes as she surveys the low-budget ingredients sprawled across the scratched countertop. "Today we cook to feed the community," she declares, the steadiness of her voice carrying through the air. The hot pan waits patiently beside her, ready to transform the mundane into something magical. She mixes a flurry of ingredients, her hands moving with practiced grace, much like a conductor guiding a symphony. A pot of water comes to a boil, bubbling energetically, a sound that harmonizes with the rapid clicking from Kade's room and Lila's soft murmurings. Here, each character exists in parallel, weaving threads of ambition and nurturing purpose into their daily fabric. As Kade deepens his focus, fixing a line of code that refuses to cooperate, the distant aroma of sautéing garlic reaches him. It stirs an odd mix of nostalgia and longing, a connection to meals shared that fuels his drive even as he isolates himself in digital trenches. He breathes in, steeling himself against the creeping suspicion that his work will never be enough. Yet, the air is thick with unspoken support, a mutual understanding shared among the rooms of the house, each voice, a note in a collaborative performance of life. Together, they orbit the chaos of their ambitions, threading sound, vision, and taste into a tapestry that both separates and connects them in profound ways. In the bright living room-turned-gym, Zara moves with purpose, each lunge a calculated assertion of her strength. The space radiates motivational energy, walls adorned with quotes that pulse like her heartbeat, pushing her onward. "Let's crush this workout," she calls out to the webcam, a bright smile illuminating her sun-kissed features as she drives her body to its limits. Every drop of sweat tells a story of resilience, and she thrives on the sensation, counting each representative with fierce determination. Push-ups follow lunges in rhythmic succession, her strong form expertly executing each motion. 1, 2, 3, she counts aloud, voice buoyant with enthusiasm that ripples through the room. Yet, beneath her confident facade, an undercurrent of doubt lurks, whispering that perfection is the only acceptable goal. A fleeting thought crosses her mind: will they see her as she truly is, flaws and all? In the adjacent work nook, Leo hunches over his tablet, bathed in the soft glow of a solitary desk lamp. The dim light contrasts sharply with the bright energy of Zara's gym, encapsulating his introspective nature. Surrounded by a melange of art supplies and canvases half-finished, he sketches with meticulous care, the stylus dancing across the screen with deft precision. "Watch the line and curve," he murmurs softly, drawing the world as he sees it, a blend of emotions swirling like paint on canvas. His hands, often stained with remnants of creativity, glide effortlessly as the digital masterpiece unfolds beneath his touch. In this solitary moment, the tension of external demands ebbs away, replaced by the vivid clarity of his vision. But a sense of urgency tugs at his mind. The clock ticks relentlessly, and the specter of social media looms large. The disparity between art and the speed of digital consumption rattles in his thoughts. Will anyone appreciate the depth hidden within his strokes, or will the world overlook the beauty in favor of hastily made content? At the far end of the house, Jax leans into the microphone in his isolated room, an intense gaze set firmly on the screen ahead. Piles of notes scatter across his desk, remnants of arguments and strategies he meticulously curates. "Let's take the power back, one story at a time," he declares, words echoing with passion that envelops him. Each sentence he constructs carries weight, no casual remarks here. The words form sharp critiques, drawing on his upbringing in a politically divided household. With each rehearsed phrase, Jax's fingers tap an eager beat on the wooden desk, translating unyielding resolve into audible rhythm. In this moment, he lives for the battle of ideas, pushing the boundaries of conventional thought. His intensity crackles in the air, electrifying his conviction as he considers the impact his words could wield. The silent stakes heighten, a clash of truths waiting to erupt. As the timer on Zara's phone beeps rhythmically, Leo pauses to listen, feeling the echoing tempo reverberate through the walls. All three artists, anchored in their separate pursuits, forge a vibrant symphony, mingling sweat, ink, and sharp insights in a sprawling tapestry that reflects their resolve. Each sound, a clang of determination, a stroke of creativity, a deliberate declaration, interlaces their paths, building the foundation of their collective journey. In her makeshift recording space, dimly lit by a single warm lamp, Melody cradles a vintage microphone like a lifeline. Fingers poised over the strings of her well-worn guitar, she exhales slowly, feeling the weight of creation settle over her like a comforting blanket, yet just as suffocating. Here within these walls, the sound of truth begs to break free. The clutter around her, effects pedals, notebooks filled with unfinished lyrics and remnants of coffee, paints a portrait of passionate chaos. This is where art breathes, but it also chokes under the pressure of expectation. Melody strums the first chord, testing the waters of her vulnerability. Each note cascades like a gentle waterfall, blending the joy and trepidation of sharing her soul through music. She plays again, closing her eyes as the chords deepen in resonance. This is the heart of her work, where she seeks authenticity amid the commercial demands swirling outside. This is the sound of truth, she declares softly into the mic, her voice a tentative thread woven into the fabric of her song. The beauty of expression glimmers like sunlight piercing through clouds, yet shadows of self-doubt ripple beneath the surface. Replaying her take, she adjusts the sliders on the mixing board, sculpting sound with careful precision. Moments of hesitation creep in, each note a reminder of the artistic integrity she holds dear. Should she sacrifice depth for the allure of popularity? The struggle feels painfully familiar, a tug-of-war between genuine passion and the desire for validation. Melody's mind drifts, tracing the journeys of countless musicians who faced similar crossroads, grappling with the fragility of their voices in a cacophonous world. Each replay sparks fresh emotions, the track shaping into an embodiment of her essence. Here she explores fears, hopes, and everything in between, inviting the listener to share in her intricate web of thought and feeling. The process unfolds slowly, tenderly, as her fingers glide across the strings with newfound purpose. In moments of clarity, her gaze lifts to the space beyond her studio, sensing the pulse of life outside. Each strum echoes her heartbeat, uniting her inner world with the greater rhythm of existence. The final take culminates in an effervescent surge of creation, a fusion of vulnerability and courage. As she clips the recording, a surge of relief washes over her. The piece may not be perfect, but it's a raw testament to her journey, a whisper of her truth shared amidst the noise. A fleeting smile breaks through, reminding her that the beauty of creation lies not in perfection, but in the courage to reveal oneself. Outside her walls, life continues its intricate dance, sounds of laughter and conversation floating in through the window. Yet for now she remains here, caught between the refuge of her thoughts and the reality that awaits beyond her art, a reality that begs her to share the sound of truth she has finally begun to grasp. Chapter 15: The New Algorithm. In the dim light of his monitor, Kade Montgomery hunches over his cluttered desk, the quiet hum of his custom-built rig melding with the frantic sound of his keystrokes. Lines of code dance on the screen as he debugs a new algorithm, his intense focus illuminating the suspicion and determination etched across his brow. It's just him and the numbers, a familiar rhythm where ambition meets the weight of overthinking, an ongoing battle at the heart of his endeavor. Across the hall, Lila Vaughn sits in her small, neatly arranged bedroom, a sanctuary cluttered with audio equipment and foam panels. Soft LED lights create an ethereal glow around her as she adjusts her microphone, testing the connection while cradling a small handheld fan. Her gentle, measured voice breaks the silence. "Sound check, 1, 2, she murmurs, the comforting cadence of her words merging with the delicate thuds of a brush against fabric, crafting a serene backdrop that seems to float over the frantic digital world. The calm atmosphere envelops her, a stark contrast to the energetic chaos echoing just outside her door. Meanwhile, in the cramped stainless steel kitchen, Rhea stands at her post, rhythmically chopping inexpensive vegetables on a well-worn cutting board. Each clatter of her knife against wood sends a sharp sound reverberating through the small space, blending with the gentle sizzle of oil heating in a pan. Her phone captures every moment of the stream setup as she moves with practiced grace, adding a pinch of spice here, a sprinkle of seasoning there, her voice crisp and clear through the screen. "Stir it in slowly, every step counts," she instructs, her nurturing essence shining through the cooking tutorial like sunlight breaking through clouds. Zara Reyes occupies a corner of the living room, a vibrant tangle of sports gear and workout equipment around her. With a swift motion, she sets up her tripod, checking her phone's live feed as her smartwatch beeps, signaling her preparation is on track. The echo of her sneakers against the hardwood floor builds anticipation in the air as she positions herself for an impromptu fitness routine. "Let's crush this workout," she shouts with infectious enthusiasm, an electric charge weaving into her words as she leaps into motion, effortlessly syncing her physical energy with the digital excitement of her audience. In the hallway, Morgan Chen and Ava Mitchell share a workstation, each focused on their respective monitors, toggling between real-time data and a flurry of chat messages. The efficiency of their interactions creates a tangible synergy, bolstered by Morgan's dry sense of humor, as they crack a brief quip about the latest streamer trends. Ava, always ready to listen and uplift, nods with a warm smile, effortlessly guiding the conversation while keeping their project on track. The energy hums as if it pulses through the walls, connecting everyone together. Beta test is live. Let's see those authentic numbers roll in. Kade calls out, his voice ringing through the house like an urgent rallying cry. A wave of tension ripples through the air, blending with the soft whir of machines and the clamor of preparation, setting the stage for their collective endeavor. Lila stills for a moment, her calming aura a stark contrast to the adrenaline surging around them, ready to contribute to this chaotic symphony of creativity and competition. As the energy solidifies and tensions ignite, each character plunges deeper into their respective tasks, contributing to an unstoppable force of collaboration that reverberates throughout the Seven Streams house, marking the beginning of something new, something real. The house is alive with synchronized activity as streams begin. Kade's screen fills with lines of code and blinking metrics, the air charged with expectation. "Testing input, testing output," he announces, fingers dancing over the keyboard, creating a symphony of clicking keys as his analytical mind works to unveil new strategies and insights to keep pace with the rapidly changing world outside. He leans forward, intent on uncovering every variable, his voice laced with authority as he narrates the process in real time. The glow from the screen bathes his face in a flickering light, highlighting the fierce concentration in his sharp, observant eyes. In her softly lit room, Lila clicks the record button on her camera, feeling the energy in the air shift as she cradles a small handheld fan in her hands. With a slow breath, she settles into her ASMR environment, her gentle voice echoing through the quiet as she adjusts the dim LED strips that paint the room in a tranquil hue. "Soundcheck 1 2," she says, the calm timbre of her words winding through the delicate atmosphere like a lullaby. Each tap and brush against fabric emits soft sounds that evoke warmth and peace, transforming her bedroom into a comforting sanctuary where viewers can find solace from the chaos outside. In the kitchen, Rhea captures the attention of her viewers as she films a new segment for her cooking show. The clanging of pots and the rhythmic chopping of her knife against the cutting board provide a lively soundtrack, underscoring the vibrancy of her culinary creations. "Stir it in slowly. Every step counts," she instructs her audience with a cheerful enthusiasm that permeates the kitchen, bringing the flavors of her dish to life as spices rattle in jars nearby. Her voice is clear, inviting, and informative, a perfect balance of professionalism and warmth that draws everyone in closer to her culinary world. Zara, outside by a window overlooking a busy street, is already deep into her fitness routine. She performs a series of high-intensity moves, the rapid thump of her sneakers against the hardwood floor, synchronizing with the steady beeps of her fitness app. "Let's crush this workout," she exclaims, her contagious energy radiating through the camera, setting her viewers ablaze with motivation. Each gesture, each squat is deliberate, a testament to her athletic background as she encourages her audience to embrace the grind, to push through the challenge of physical exertion. Meanwhile, Leo Kim sits in a dimly lit room lined with art supplies, rapidly sketching on his digital tablet. The sound of his stylus tapping against the glass screen is almost meditative, a subtle counterpoint to the cacophony surrounding him. Colors begin to bloom on the canvas, strokes merging into vibrant creations that reflect the intensity of the world outside. This focus reveals a quiet tension, the artistic soul contrasting sharply with the frenetic pace of social media. Across the hall, Melody Carter embraces the ambiance in her space, plucking at the strings of her guitar with practiced ease. A gentle, melodic hum fills the air as she tunes into the rhythm of her stream, lost in the music that flows seamlessly through her fingertips. "Let's hit that note right," she whispers into her microphone, her voice wrapping around each chord like a warm hug, inviting her audience into an intimate connection filled with authenticity and creativity. In another corner, Jax Thompson readies himself at a makeshift desk, poised with cables and a webcam aimed directly at him. With a deep breath, he connects with his guest on a video call, the anticipation of debate hanging palpably in the air. "We need clear metrics to avoid bias," he asserts, his tone authoritative and commanding, the measured confidence radiating from him making every word resonate. The strategic pauses in his speech punctuate the dialogue, drawing attention to each crucial point as his intellectual sparring unfolds, live before an engaged audience. As each character dives deeper into their activities, the house becomes a living organism, a fusion of sound, energy, and focus, a chaotic harmony threading through the evening. From cooking to gaming, art to fitness, the pulse of creativity thrums in sync, underlining the realization that within this space, individuality and collaboration coexist, fueling aspirations that reach far beyond the walls of Seven Streams. After the beta streams conclude, the team converges in the living room, around a large wall-mounted monitor flickering with consolidated live metrics and chat interactions. Kade leans forward, excitement in his eyes as he points at the screen. "Look at these authentic engagements," he says, tracing the lines of data with his finger, the rhythm of his heartbeat syncing with the scrolling numbers as he scans the detailed charts and figures that validate their combined efforts. The walls reverberate with a sense of triumph, a subtle pulse indicating that something significant has been achieved. Lila pauses for a moment, her camera still recording as she adjusts a stray lock of hair behind her ear. Her expression is one of quiet approval, a gentle smile creeping across her lips. "We finally have something real," she murmurs, her voice a soft melody that echoes through the room, affirming the significance of their shared endeavor. Each digit and graph conjures a reassurance, showing that their hard work hasn't been in vain. Yet, a shadow lingers at the edges of her mind, the nagging question of whether external validation could ever be enough. Rhea steps into the room carrying a plate of freshly arranged finger foods, her infectious enthusiasm bubbling over as she presents the spread to the group. "I thought we could celebrate our achievements with some snacks," she says, her warm brown eyes sparkling with sincerity. The combination of vibrant vegetables and mouthwatering aromas offers nourishment for both body and spirit, a manifestation of her natural caretaker role. "You all did amazing today. These metrics are fantastic," she adds, glancing toward the monitor, her excitement contagious as it washes over the room. Zara, energized by the camaraderie, stands near a whiteboard, her excitement bubbling over as she marks off milestones with a thick marker. "Check this out," she announces, motioning to the highlighted achievements with enthusiasm. "We've hit the goals we set, and look at this spike in viewers during our streams." The warmth in her tone is palpable, lifting the team's spirits as they gather to acknowledge their progress. The way she confidently marks off each success illustrates not just metrics, but a path forward, reaffirming their determination. Leo and Melody exchange quick, approving glances across the room, a quiet bond reflecting their artistic natures and shared sense of achievement. Their eyes sparkle with understanding, a connection beyond words, conveying pride in the collaborative effort that birthed their unique creations. They share unspoken acknowledgments about the beauty of the metrics, both validating their artistry and sparking inspiration for future endeavors. "We're doing something real, aren't we?" Melody whispers to Leo, her voice barely audible above the ambient noise of celebration. Jax, holding a stack of printed graphs, reviews the data with quiet efficiency. He interjects, "This debate will shape our next move." His tone is measured, lending gravity to their collective reflections. The energy shifts as he outlines the key takeaways from the metrics, weaving strategic insights with newfound learnings that intertwine their experiences. His authority commands the room, and as his voice resonates, he naturally ignites a conversation about how they can push boundaries even further, tapping into the data to fuel their future endeavors. Morgan and Ava gather data from their laptops, summarizing the final set of logs, and their swift movements reflect the collaboration and effort they share. Morgan provides critical commentary, emphasizing the importance of the insights gleaned during the stream, their technical expertise proving invaluable in navigating the fast-paced digital landscape. With these metrics, we can shift our focus for future content, especially around audience engagement, they suggest, highlighting their diligent observations that feed into the larger conversation. As the discussions unfold, a shared sense of purpose settles among the team. They gather in a semicircle, their focused stares and quick nods conveying a hard-earned sense of accomplishment. The monitor's numbers continue to scroll, an emblem of their ongoing journey, reinforcing the resolve that binds them together in this adventure of creativity, collaboration, and growth. The night hums with promise as their ideas and aspirations coalesce into something vibrant, a testament to their combined dedication, igniting the fire within each of them to reach for even greater heights. Chapter 16: 7 Streams, 1 Community. The room hums with a chaotic blend of light and sound, glowing monitors illuminating the faces of the 7 streamers preparing for their moment. Kade Montgomery sits at the epicenter, fingers dancing over an array of tangled cables and screens, eyes sharp and focused. Each corner of the studio buzzes with individual energy. Lila whispers softly into her ASMR microphone. Rhea stirs a pot of simmering ingredients. Zara stretches with rhythmic precision. Leo's fingers hover over a tablet. Melody plucks a soft tune on her guitar, and Jax's determined gaze scans his notes. The air vibrates with the electric anticipation of live engagement. Kade surveys his command center, where each screen flickers with potential. He's an orchestra conductor, every bit of tech under his control, ready to launch into the digital expanse. With an intense furrow of his brow, he glances at each streamer, gauging the mood. This is his battleground, the digital arena he's chosen to conquer. "All right, let's get this started," he shouts, voice crackling with authority. As the cameras come online, Lila Vaughn adjusts her ASMR microphone, a world away from Kade's frenetic energy. Her hand glides gently over the keyboard as she cues up a calming background track. "Welcome, everyone," she breathes softly into the microphone, her voice a serene whisper that feels like a warm embrace. Her hazel eyes sparkle with intention, drawing in viewers seeking solace amid the chaos. Lila's gentle demeanor masks a strength that lies just beneath, ready to aid those who tune in. Rhea Patel appears next, her focused energy palpable as she stirs a simmering pot in the cramped tiled kitchen, the rich aroma wafting through the air like an inviting hug. With each slice of her knife cutting through vegetables, there's a crisp sound that underscores her every action. Today, I'm sharing a budget-friendly recipe that anyone can tackle, she announces, her warm brown eyes sparkling as she holds up a vibrant bowl of chopped ingredients. She is the embodiment of nurturing care, a culinary guide in a world that often forgets the value of homemade meals. Across the room, Zara Reyes checks her fitness tracker, her athletic form poised in a sunlit corner of the living room. The light catches her determined features as she shifts into a series of warm-up stretches, each movement controlled and precise. "Let's get pumped, everyone." "Warm-up time," she exclaims, her voice punctuating the quiet with a motivating crack. The rhythmic thud of her sneakers on the wooden floor echoes as she transitions into high-energy exercises, her competitive spirit spilling over into the digital realm, challenging her viewers to engage and move. Meanwhile, Leo Kim positions his tablet atop an easel, the quiet artist preparing to unveil something special. With his fingers poised above the screen, he gazes intently, a blend of focus and artistic tension etched on his angular face. He taps the digital canvas, his movements fluid and expressive as he begins to sketch out vivid strokes. "Today's piece is inspired by the unspoken dialogues of our times," he murmurs under his breath, words that slip into the air unnoticed, meant for no one but himself. Melody Carter sits on a worn sofa lit by streaming LEDs, guitar resting comfortably against her thigh. With a gentle strum, she tests a riff, her vibrant red hair cascading around her shoulders. A soft smile plays on her lips as she contemplates her setlist. "All right, here we go," she chirps, a hint of nerves dancing behind her upbeat facade. Her fingers dance along the fretboard, weaving a melody that mingles with the bustling excitement filling the room. In the midst of it all, Jax Thompson stands at his cluttered desk, preparing for a live discussion that will tackle the nuances of digital ethics. His posture is polished, exuding an authoritative presence. "Let's break this down," he states, voice deep and measured as he glances up at the monitors, scanning live comments and questions trickling in. Sweat beads on his forehead, a testament to the pressure that comes with navigating the complexities of political discourse online. Each streamer flashes quick smiles to the camera as Kade signals for the start. The anticipation hangs thick in the air, a promise of the entertainment to come. In this moment, they're not just creators, they're a collective force ready to dive into the ever-evolving landscape of digital connection. "Let's go," Kade calls, the vibrant energy surging through the room, marking the beginning of an electrifying live stream. The live stream bursts into a montage of dynamic moments, a vibrant tapestry of energy that brings each streamer's passion into the viewers' homes. Rhea holds the camera with focused intensity, a bowl of freshly chopped ingredients glimmering under the bright studio lights. Today's recipe is not just easy, it's affordable, perfect for everyone wanting to cook at home, she declares, her voice infused with warmth. Each motion, her knife slicing, the stirring of her pot, plays like a rhythmic dance, syncing with the laughter and encouragement echoing from off-camera. As she holds up the chopping board, the audience can see the meticulous precision with which she prepares each ingredient, the fresh colors popping vibrantly. "Now we have our carrots," she announces, gliding the knife through the vibrant orange flesh, a crisp, audible beat punctuating the air. "Next up, the bell peppers." Ray's warmth radiates through the screen, drawing in her viewers as she smiles and shares little anecdotes about cooking on a budget, all while the scent of savory spices dances through the kitchen. Meanwhile, Zara bursts onto the screen mid-workout, her infectious energy wrapping around the viewers like a high-octane hug. "Let's crush this workout, everyone," she shouts, punctuating her words with high knees that thud rhythmically against the hardwood floor. As the camera pulls back, viewers witness the bright neon fitness posters that flank her backdrop, pulsating with motivational messages. Remember, we're here to empower each other. Let's make every representative count, she cheers, transitioning into a series of lunges. The sound of her sneakers slapping against the floor fills the room, the tempo rising with each of her movements. Her voice booms with unwavering confidence as she demonstrates the next exercise, a perfect blend of instructor and teammate. Keep it going. You got this. Her enthusiasm is contagious, engaging viewers who follow along, sweat beading on their foreheads as they keep pace with her unwavering drive. In a stark contrast of quiet creativity, Leo's art workshop offers a soothing glimpse into the mind of a meticulous artist. The screen switches to him, fingers gliding over his tablet in a fluid motion, drawing lines and shapes that form mysterious characters and landscapes. For this piece, I want to explore the concept of hidden emotions, he shares softly, pausing occasionally to tap the screen, layers of color unfurling before the audience. Art is about more than just the final product, it's about the journey. As strokes of color build on the digital canvas, viewers watch as secret codes and messages appear, each detail holding weight as Leo explains his creative process. The art is alive, responding to the viewer's curious reactions in real time, making them part of something greater. Let's bring these feelings to life together, he whispers, inviting the audience into a collaborative experience that transcends the screen. Then the scene shifts to Melody, seated on her worn sofa, lit by a soft glow from the streaming LEDs. She runs her fingers across the strings of her guitar, the melody ebbing and flowing through the space, inviting viewers into her world. This next one is for all my dreamers out there, she says, voice brightening as she strums a familiar tune, launching into a mix of new songs interspersed with fan favorites. As she performs, chat bubbles cascade on the screen, hearts and praise flooding in from fans who feel every note. Melody's expressive movements reflect the emotional depth of her lyrics, her passionate connection with music resonating through the live stream. Each chord is like a heartbeat, drawing viewers closer into her narrative. Thank you, thank you. You're all amazing, she beams, wrapping her final note in an explosion of applause and virtual hugs from her audience. In a quieter, yet no less impactful moment, Jax's segment appears as a contrasting stream of thought. Sitting at his cluttered desk, the glow of multiple monitors reflects off his focused gaze. Let's dive into digital ethics, he states, his voice commanding but steady, managing to engage while still conveying the weight of the topic. He fields questions, interjecting with insightful commentary that resonates with viewers who thirst for intellectual discourse in a fast-paced world. As his segment unfolds, Jax expertly breaks down the complexities of digital content creation, encouraging viewers to think critically about the ethics behind their favorite platforms. Each comment from his audience reveals the impact of his message, igniting a ripple of discussion that flows through the live stream, making them feel part of a larger community. With each segment merging seamlessly, the energy continues to swell, a testament to the diverse talents of the 7 streamers coming together to create something meaningful in the digital landscape. The air crackles with electric energy as the streamers converge in the living room, transforming the studio from a collection of individual efforts into a cohesive force. Kade stands at the center, rallying his team like a general preparing for battle. Positions, everyone. We're going live in 5. His voice pierces through the excitement, weaving together the strands of their disparate segments into a unified tapestry ready for presentation. One by one, the streamers leave their posts, footsteps echoing in the well-lit space. Rhea is the first to arrive, cheeks still flushed from her culinary segment, her hands now resting on her hips. Zara bounds in next, still catching her breath from the workout, but carrying an aura of triumph as she settles into the lineup. Lila comes in last, moving gracefully and capturing Kade's attention with a gentle smile as she finds her spot beside Rhea. Leo, typically reserved, brings a different energy, quickly setting up his easel for a quick visual behind them, while Melody plucks her guitar softly, tuning it for the perfect sound. Jack strides in, posture erect, eyes focused, as he hands Kade a fresh sheet of notes, eyebrows knit with determined enthusiasm. "Tonight, we change everything," Kade announces, a proclamation that reverberates through the room. Each word hangs in the air, infused with palpable conviction, calling upon the unique gifts of every streamer gathered here. Lila's smile broadens, infectious and encouraging, as she glances at the others, their eyes sparkling with ambition. As Kade commands the live feed to begin, on-screen graphics flare to life behind them, emblazoned with the powerful message, "7 Streams" becomes an incubator for ethical, community-focused creators. Each streamer's heart races, reflecting their individual contributions through the brilliant design, their commitment illuminating the digital canvas. One by one, the streamers respond, amplifying their voices in a collective crescendo. Rhea lifts a mixing bowl high, the promise of nourishing recipes encapsulating her culinary essence. "Let's make cooking accessible," she cheers, embodying her role as a caretaker, fueling the collective fire with her passion for food. Zara interjects, mid-stance, holding her fitness tracker aloft, sweat still glistening on her brow. "Together, we'll build a stronger community." The strength behind her words inspires those watching, her commitment undeniable. Leo holds up his tablet, where his latest artwork vibrates with life. "Art is a dialogue we all engage in. Let's speak truthfully," he adds, a touch of passion coloring his tone as he pulls everyone in with his silent intensity. Then Melody steps forward, radiant, her guitar resting against her chest. "And through music, we'll share stories that resonate," she proclaims, her voice a melody of hope that weaves seamlessly into the fabric of their mission. Lastly, Jax, steadfast and assertive, joins them at the forefront, his expression unwavering. "Let's not just create. Let's challenge the norms," he declares, echoing the themes of ethical awareness and social responsibility that tie them all together. The sentiment ignites a thrill in the room, a shared understanding that transcends individual goals. This is about something larger than themselves. As their eyes lock on the lens, a symbiotic connection forms, and the final group shot captures the unity of their purpose. Each streamer exchanges determined nods, breaths sinking in anticipation of their call to action, their voices rising as one. "For our community," they shout in unison, the sound reverberating through the digital ether, casting a powerful statement across the virtual landscape. The moment is a crystallized blend of effort and intent, a promise made not only to themselves, but to the world watching. Change is on the horizon.